Hello, fear not, we are here, we are back. We've just been testing out some equipment, which probably we should have done before we started at 6 o'clock today. This is 4020 Live. It's Mark, Rich, Gary and Phil with you. I haven't eaten for a week now. Looking forward to the curry that the legend will be paying for after the show. Want your interaction. Got some praise coming for the RFL. We're also going to have a bit of a whinge about them as well. What about on the field then? Hull Kingston Rovers take a big step nearer to getting their Super League survival by winning a thriller at Headingley. And how good did it look on the TV? Big crowd, big atmosphere. The qualifiers, they do bring the sport to life. Elsewhere, worrying times for Widnes. They've gone. They've given up. They're rubbish. Just like your predictions, legend.
Just like his moustache.
Just like his moustache. What about Hull FC? I think the legend might have a word or two to say about that he hasn't already said on social media. Giants, their charge for the playoffs is surely over now after Wakefield put them to the sword, and the Tigers bubbling up nicely to get a place in the grand final. You can get in touch at 4020 Live on Twitter. You can get in touch via the 4020 Live Facebook page. It's Mark, Rich, Phil and Gary with you. We've had a few technical problems, Gary, which would explain why we're a few minutes late. What technical problems did you have with... You are now the worst tipster in Super League. I'm sorry, you are rubbish. I want you to defend yourself. Did Richie Myler win man of the match? Did Leeds win? Pathetic.
Listen, I gave the explanation, right, from a point of view, with Leeds' point of view. They haven't done it all season. Pressure's on. I was expecting the big game players to step up. Richie Myler has to step up. Hold on.
Question.
Hold on. I'm asking. All right, I'm answering the question what you've asked me. All right, and then I'm expecting the big game players to step up. Richie Myler was brought into Leeds to get us into the top four, to get us to the Challenge Cup, to try and get us to the grand final. No, that's gone. But now I would expect him to step up there just to take the pressure off a little bit, and he didn't do that. He wasn't the only one. But one thing for sure now, I think what Kevin Sinfield has realised, coaching is not a happy dressing room, is it? Coaching is not a happy place for him. And when I heard the interview from Kevin on radio after the game, you can tell, boy oh boy, he's not enjoying being the head coach at Leeds. Hold on. He doesn't want to be a coach. Yes, he is the head coach. When you see him walking out leading the team, when you see him at the side of Robbie Burrow, when you see him with his clipboard, when you see him in the stand giving the orders, Kevin Sinfield is the head coach at Leeds. Don't worry about that. But one thing for sure, he's so much looking forward to the end of the season, the 28th of September. Get out of that cauldron. He doesn't want it. He doesn't enjoy it. He's not getting a response from the players. One thing for sure, fellas, the pressure is on Leeds now. Can they handle that pressure?
Right. I want to come back to you, right, because I looked at that Leeds team on Thursday, whenever it was announced, and you think, yeah, all right, they've got everyone available. There are no excuses this week.
Yeah.
But you just said then, the big game players are back. Who are the big game players at Leeds? Who are they? And when you said, you're expecting them to do it now, they've done it all season, Gary. This is not a 3-game season. This is 26 games into the season now, and they are still struggling.
I agree with you totally. But when the pressure's on, you expect them to, the big game players, well, they've been here, haven't they? JJB, Ablett, Moon, Briscoe, and I say Myler, and then the forward pack from Cuthbertson, Parcell, they've all been there. But at this moment in time, they're quite simply not good enough. They're not good enough. And as Kevin said after the game, and also to fill in his match reports, you score 36 points at home and you get beat. That just tells me them players, at this moment in time, are not committed enough.
Phil, do you want to defend? You've defended them all season. What do you want to say?
I certainly wouldn't defend that performance. I think the key thing in these qualifiers is you have to win by however you manage to win, and Hull KR did that. I think the fact that they went ahead with 13 minutes still to go, their game management for that last 13 minutes was superb. I
wasn't saying that, by the way, just before half time when he threw that. I thought, what, they just kicked the drop goal when he threw that interception?
And I think, again, the Leeds issue is the one that's been all season, that they get 10 points ahead. They should be able to close that out, but they can't. They've lost that ruthlessness, that killer instinct. Now they need to find it for at least 3 more games this season to get them over the line and back into Super League. I think that Gary's been slightly unkind to some of the players that were out there. I think Tim Sheen said it was one of those. It was reminiscent of almost a Sevens game. It was touch and pass for a lot of it. There wasn't defence on either side. Some beautifully created tries, but the most disappointing thing, I think, from a Leeds point of view, was the final try, what turned out to be the match-winning try. For Junior Vaivai to roll over the line from 2 metres out over two of those most experienced players, two players who this time last year were on their way to winning a grand final, who are match winners, but not this season. That would be the most disappointing thing for Kevin Sinfield.
I'll tell you what, Phil, I was there Saturday, and you want to listen to the Leeds supporters. I'm not being too harsh on these Leeds players, Phil.
I didn't say you were.
You know, the supporters, they can't believe what they're seeing. They can't believe what they're seeing.
I spoke to you just after the game. You sounded like you'd had about 18 pints. Did you
That's
even
'cause
see
he
the
had.
second half?
Yeah. I saw it all. Don't worry about that.
Through an alcoholic haze.
I saw it all. Don't worry about that. I'm with you for sure. I wish I'd have had another 18 pints and all on top of that.
Well,
so I didn't have to watch it.
You made a point, and I saw it on social media. You said Leeds have been wrong to sack Brian McDermott. Explain that comment. Why have they been wrong? What would it have been any different with McDermott in charge?
Would the results have been a bit different? Yes, I do, to be honest with you, because there's confusion at the club. Listen, players nowadays in all sports, right? They will look for any excuse whatsoever. So the Leeds players now, I know what the Leeds players will be saying as individuals, collectively. They won't be saying it in the dressing room, but they'll be saying it themselves. Oh, well, who's coaching us?
No, they're
Who's
not.
coaching us?
No, they're not. That's not right.
Well, you might know something different to me then, Phil. But who is coaching?
They know the structure.
Right. Okay.
They know
All right.
how it's working
All right.
for
The
the end of
structure.
this season.
Well, one thing for sure.
And it will change.
Well, yeah, we know it's
when
going to change. It is going to change.
But
they will be the coaching.
Who they need to impress in training.
But what I'm saying is, sacking Brian McDermott, was it the right call? No, I don't think it was. He would. Yeah, they'd been in the bottom four. But as I say, I would imagine he would have got the best out of the players in the position what they were in from there, and they would have survived quite easily.
How would he have got players tackling better on their own goal line?
Because I think...
that's not a coach. That's an individual thing, isn't it?
Oh, listen, we've seen that with the old players. Oh, Phil, are you trying to say now, when I said about Leeds, about lacking desire and passion...
I don't think they lack desire or passion.
You know, what you're saying here now, it's the players as individuals. Of course it's individuals collectively. Not as but as individuals and as a team collectively. Of course it is.
I think it's the pressure of the situation that they're in is making some of them underperform.
So the question is for me, can these players handle this pressure?
Well, they'll know at Widnes next Sunday.
Can they
which is
handle
not
this
a
pressure?
happy hunting ground for them, that's for sure.
Can they handle this pressure?
But I'm not sure that the coach is responsible for the try that was conceded on their own goal line.
Right, Phil, let me explain to you. As I've said many times on this show, I hated playing for three certain coaches. Lawton, Steve Ferris and Della van der Vel, right? The one thing for sure, as I've said many times, coaches don't make players, players make coaches. As I say, when I play for them coaches, right, I could care less about them. It was all about my self-pride, my performance for the supporters, my performance for the directors and my self-pride from there now. Okay, so the coaches don't make the play. So you're saying to me then, the players themselves have to be making sure, with the attitude, the desire, the professionalism, and we're talking about closing games down.
That's it.
You score 36 points and you still get a beat at home. They're weak. That's what they are. They are mentally weak.
Defensively,
they're mentally
they have
weak.
An issue.
They are mentally weak.
Stop laughing.
What? No, sadly, I don't think we own the hashtag Leeds in Crisis anymore.
Why?
So well, I think the copyright's gone. But we're going to steal Paul's because he's been on. Hashtag Save the Rhino. We've got some t-shirts knocked up with that on. He says, here's the bigger problem higher up. Is Gary H's time numbered? 3 years of poor recruitment and agency. Let's just say, though, if Leeds can't beat Widnes on Sunday, they shouldn't be just relegated to the Championship. They should be in the National Conference.
Do you think this should be like a playoff game next week? If you lose, if Widnes or Leeds lose next, Widnes are down anyway.
Yeah.
If Leeds lose at Widnes, right, I would expect, and I mean this, that Sinfield and Hetherington resign immediately after the game. Good point from a listener. I'm blaming Gary Hetherington here. This is all down to poor recruitment over a number of years. And people say Leeds are the champions. They won it last year. Even Leeds fans are saying they were so fortunate to win it last year.
Why were they fortunate?
They weren't even in the same ballpark as Castleford. Let's call a spade a spade. They were miles away.
Well,
and on one game they won it.
They were second. It wasn't a complete. It wasn't a season
in
to
a
write
year
off.
where Warrington were awful, where Wigan were awful, where Saints didn't start playing until they got rid of their coach.
Leicester City didn't deserve to win the Premiership. They did. Can't say we'll take it away from them because Manchester United weren't very good then.
Hold on. So if Leicester City then had played in a grand final against Chelsea and lost, would Leicester City have still been the best team all season?
Under the terms of their competition, they were the best team.
So stop avoiding the question. Gary Hetherington, he's the problem at Leeds. Yes or no?
Well, recruitment has been very poor. Yeah, there's no two ways about that. But also, one thing for sure here.
I think recruitment's interesting because I think we'll no doubt get onto Hull and Adam Pearson's statement. It's really easy to say we will go out and sign 4 players. Who? The state that the sport is in at the moment is that there are not players out there to sign. The top line players from Australia aren't coming. The rugby union players aren't coming. You can make a marquee signing if you want, but most of the teams that have made marquee
Salford
signings
seem to have found a couple of good players. They don't seem to have a problem winning.
The issue for Salford is, are those players going to be there next year?
No, that's irrelevant.
No,
it's
not
irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant.
That's irrelevant. So
Because
Leeds couldn't have
Leeds are
bought them.
not in the market.
Leeds couldn't have bought them and signed them for next year. Then.
They can't buy them under this restriction of the salary cap as it is at the moment.
Yeah, they could. They could go get a marquee player. They're more than welcome to go get one.
Yeah, that will do more than a marquee player such as a Tyrone Roberts or a Ben Barber who is only here for a year and then leaves.
Would Leeds be better with Jackson Hastings? Yes or no? Simple question. Would they be better with him?
Of course I would.
Phil?
The way he's playing at the moment, probably.
Right, so why didn't they sign him?
They couldn't fit him in under the salary.
I'll tell you what as well.
They could if they'd have bought him as a marquee player.
I'll tell you what, Mark, as well.
How much would it cost for 7 weeks for it? It wouldn't have cost that much, would it?
Apparently it's costing about 10 grand a game.
Right. For me, money well spent. If it keeps Salford in, we were right. I wrote them off. I thought they'd gone. They're in. They're going to be. If they win this weekend, that's them safe.
I'll tell you what as well. In the League Express and all, reading what Francis Cummins said about his players, again, pathetic performance against Toulouse. I hope the Leeds players don't read his comments by saying my players have given in. I hope the Leeds players don't read that because it might be a bit of so-called reverse psychology. Because they'll be wound up. They'll be wound up for that. You know, they'll be making sure that Leeds don't have it all their own way. So Leeds now. The simple question is: can them play it? And you know the pressure what they're under. Can they handle the pressure? What they're under?
David has just made a good point, Rich.
Hetherington at fault. Are you kidding? Overseeing the most successful period at the club, and the I can't use your.
Come on, fat fingers. What are you doing?
You can't do it either.
No. Yes,
the best.
Look, yeah, they have. They have.
Yeah.
But, you know, 30 years ago or 50 years ago, Wakefield used to go, times change and Leeds are getting left behind. They're going to have the best stadium in Rugby League and they're going to have a worse team they've put out in 20 years.
I'm not sure. I think they've got some really good youngsters coming through. I think they've already signed 2 players that are going to make a big difference next year.
Right. Who?
Lola here and McClelland.
Okay.
I think they will.
Will McClelland play every week?
Think he will. Yeah.
So where's Myler going to play then? Is he getting dropped?
Scrum half.
I thought them 2 were halfbacks.
Well, Lola here can play in the centre.
So you're getting a good player and playing him out of position.
No, it's not because he's played a lot of his career in the centre. So they've got options. They will have more options next year.
And what about you, Cunningham, as well? About it's rumoured that we might be signing him from the Broncos.
Not heard.
Can I ask a question? You say that you'll have more options next year. What about some forwards that actually go forward? You could do with some of them as well, couldn't you?
Again, there is no excuse for not winning a game when you score 36 points at home. It didn't help them that Carl Ablett went off and they were restricted on their interchange.
There's a lot of excuses coming
No, I'm
out.
just saying, it didn't help them. They didn't mention that after the game, but it didn't help
Featherstone won
them.
with 14 men on Sunday.
Now, you see, we need to talk about this, don't we?
Well, we'll talk about that in a bit, surely. Can't we just keep
Leeds
sticking in
Leeds
on
reserves. Well, people
But
have
also,
got sick of
as well,
Leeds,
Phil,
aren't
I'll ask you the question. One thing for sure, Kevin's not enjoying this coaching game, is he? You can see
He's
that.
not enjoying the results.
No, he's not enjoying the
But
coaching.
he's
You can
not.
see
He's
it in him.
not coaching them.
He's Alan Shearer.
He is planning the week strategy and he's not physically coaching them. He is watching the coaching, but he's not undertaking the coaching. He is picking the team.
We've got to move on because people, despite the fact no one likes Leeds, people don't like us moaning about Leeds. Anyway,
nor should they like them. Is that the smell of curry?
When are we going out for our curry? I thought we were going out tonight, but I see you've Welshed already on that, so we'll sort that out later. I got, by the way, I got 20 tweets within 2 minutes of the final whistle. I hope you enjoy your curry. Get the most expensive curry you can. Don't worry, I will.
Surely it's not the last bet we're going to have before the end of the season.
No,
surely
you can pay out.
Surely. Do me a favour.
Rich, what's happening on social media?
Castleford Tigers beat Catalans in the biggest shock of the weekend as the Catalans were still on the pop. Hoppo says Luke Gale looked fit and sharp, scary for the rest of the Super 8. He's just going to get better. We also had plenty of praise about young Jake Truman as well.
Can I ask a question? One for the listeners here. I'm going to jump in there. I want to ask. We were all over Danny Richardson 2 months. Oh, he's a young player. Jake Truman. He's going to be the young player of the season, in my opinion. What do the listeners think? Who's he up against? Who from your club should be on that list? I just think he's... You look at that, you know, Gale, Roberts coming back, and Truman's still...
Hey, listen, when he scored his hat-trick against Wigan last year, you know, in the first half, and there you could see him, you know, the players themselves, you know, they gave him the responsibility, they put the trust in, they put the confidence, they reacted to him, and Darryl Powell's seen that. This is what I'm saying by coaches. Believe in the young kids on that, and I hope they do the same with young Cleller next year at Leeds, because the kid's ready for it. He wants to play. He wants to play. Yeah, but he wants to play.
Them sparingly.
No, you don't. No,
every week. Richardson is looking overplayed at the moment.
No. Richardson's not getting any help from the experienced players. Don't worry about that. It's not his fault. I can reassure you.
I didn't say it was his fault.
But
I'm saying he's looking as though he's been overplayed.
Truman, I tell you what, Truman, he must be absolutely rubbing his hands, thinking, I tell you what, I'm glad Darryl Powell's my head coach, because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be playing week in and week out. Great work, Darryl Powell. Young Truman, definitely an international in the making.
What we have got is a fantastic semi-final. We've got 4 teams in the Super League semi-final that you couldn't at this point say even who was the favourite to win the competition. It's just a shame we've got to wait another month before we get to those semi-finals. That's my issue.
Yeah, shame in some ways that Huddersfield lost last week as well. We'll touch on that. Big win for Wakefield, who I think had a few doubts injury-wise and illness-wise in the lead-up to that game. That's a big one. We will be talking about the other side of the Pennines as well. And our condolences to Dan Sargentson. I see he's had a family bereavement, hasn't he, this weekend? So our condolences to Dan and, of course, his family as well. That's terrible news indeed. Speaking of Castleford, by the way, they've just announced record profits. £600,000 profit last season. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, got to a grand final, won the League Leaders' Shield, which again, Rich will no doubt pick up on this, but seen some comments about the value of the League Leaders' Shield. Well, you want the real value of it? It's in Castleford's balance sheet from last year.
Yeah, that's it. A lot of people looking at how we improve the League Leaders' Shield, and maybe it is a monetary thing. That's what we're going to do. But a lot to be said.
Don't you think it's a prestige thing? Don't you think if you call it a
St.
shield...
won't celebrate it like Casper did, will they? Because, you know...
Yeah, but Casper have done it for the first time.
Yeah,
and Huddersfield celebrated it, and Leeds celebrated it in 2015. I just think if you give them a frisbee, and you don't give it a name, and you don't give it some prestige, and we call it the hubcap, which is what it looks like, then you're devaluing it yourself. Call it the JJ Gilton and Shield, like the parade. The Roosters won on the last weekend of the season. They need 6 of them to carry it round, and it's got some. So you have the Neil Fox Trophy. You are talking prestigious, and it means something. I think we devalue it ourselves.
Someone said to me they should give the rings out for the League Leaders' Shield winner. Any thoughts on that?
It's a grand final ring. You win it for winning a grand final.
Okay. Fair dues.
But yeah,
you can give a medal. There's no reason why you can't have a lovely medal as well as the trophy.
Yeah.
In my long-standing, let's get everyone in trouble with the RFL theory, especially clubs tweeting and moaning about referees, Sam Tompkins, for decrying the value of the League Leaders' Shield, should be brought up before the independent panel at Red Hall and be asked to explain his comments about saying it's worthless or whatever he said in the local paper. Because if we don't give the Shield prestige, then he won't have any. Everyone will
ask Ken Davey if it didn't mean anything. Remember the emotion of the night when he picked up
to the teams that aren't used to winning, i.e. Huddersfield and Cass, it's a big thing, but to everyone else seems...
But I think it's also to do with the fact that if you can still make the treble, it's really important. It's a treble, it's not a double.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It's money. Maybe we restructure to give the team that finishes top the week. The issue for me is that there's absolutely no difference to finishing first and second, other than I think £100,000, which when you say in the current parlance of the state of the game, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's not enough. You need to give the team that finishes first more. A week off at this time of the year, maybe. Automatic passage to the World Club Challenge. Are we having a World Club Challenge? Is that part of the restructure?
Well, we don't even know what league we're going to be in next year.
But what we should be doing is saying, as part of the brief for the reboot of the game, whatever that is going to be in another week's time, that we want to establish a World Club Challenge that has 3 teams in it. We need to work with the Aussies about how that happens. and it might be to have it in a neutral location. That might be the trigger. So could be America or the Far. But the team that wins the Challenge Cup gets in. The team that win the League Leaders Shield gets in. The team that win the Grand Final get in.
We've all got getting one Australian team to play, Phil, let alone 3.
Well, it helped if we plan it more than a week before. Though,
it would. A few people saying we're a little bit quiet. We are. You can see we've got some more gear. We're working in progress. We're working in progress on that. What I can tell you, and boy oh boy, this is the best signing we have ever made. You'll be able to hear this, I'll tell you now. We have been gifted a bell. Oh yes, we've got a bell. Phil, who give us this?
It's Mel the Bell.
Mel the Bell?
No,
I bet you can hear that.
I mean, I'm afraid Gareth has rumbled us by saying he thinks the mics are there for sure.
Well, they weren't.
I
But
mean,
when we
I'm
plugged them
supposed
all
to-
in, we've got a slight technical problem. Yeah, we'll
Need to
move
pay
on.
the electricity
We'll
bill.
get there eventually.
No, come on.
Well,
Just throw another few bucks on the fire, Phil. We'll be all right. We got look, we're on that. What I want to do, and I mean this seriously, right? Because we've obviously relocated. We all, whatever, blah blah blah. We relaunched our podcast last week, and we got some great first up figures. So I want to thank everyone that went and found it. What I want you to do now is share it with your friends. And keep the word spreading. We've obviously got a lot of new listeners. We want to keep all the old ones that we had as well. Thanks to everyone that shared it. We need to name our winner of the Schoey prize from last week. We'll do that before the end of the show. And we'll give something away this week. If you share, retweet, get involved, let us know you're watching. Let everyone else know you're watching. It is really important to us. We've got some big sponsors coming on board. They want to know this is the biggest and best rugby league show on the radio. We know it is. You know it is. We've just got to tell other people it is as well. So we've put the booting on Leeds. We've put the booting on Schoey, who is the worst tipster in this room. I hasten to add. That includes our non-existent producer. So you're rubbish at that.
I think I did all right this week with the predictions.
No.
Well, I want to give you... We won't get the list, right? But you are, out of the 4 people at this table, you are bottom again. You are bottom.
Not just bottom.
Yeah.
Not even in the qualifiers.
You are witness.
I want to. That's a bit harsh.
No.
I
no.
want some proof on that. That's a bit harsh.
Well, I'll show
Well, you never get
That's a
any
bit-
tips right. That's the
I
proof.
can't be as bad as witness.
You know.
Every week at the end of the
I
show,
tipped
when you
Toulouse
say
to beat
who's
them
going to
by. I
win,
tipped Toulouse to beat them by 20 points. Eh?
Rubbish. Right, okay. Bit of praise for Rovers. Right, come on then. We should go back to Hull KR because we put the booting on Leeds. We probably completely missed Hull Kingston Rovers. I thought they scored some great tries. As much as we're ripping Leeds for the defence, I thought they scored some
I
wonderful
really
tries.
like the midfield intricacy. I thought that Maguire, Atkin, Quinlan axis. Quinlan for me was the man of the match. Everything I thought sprung from him. That is a great little trio in the middle of the field that love to move the ball, and you talk about confidence. The first try that they scored on the last tackle from halfway, where Atkin chips over and Quinlan's on his shoulder, that's been allowed to play. That's backing yourself. That is something that we should be really praising. I enjoyed the way they played.
Good. Sorry to break off on our Hull KR loving. I've just got some important information, news just in.
Just in news.
Right, okay, let me just have a look at this. This is the live table of the who's winning in terms of the tips, right? Now, I've got to be honest, none of us lot are in the top 20. I've got to be brutally honest about that. I'm scrolling down, I'm still scrolling, so this means not many of us are any good, actually.
So you three are very good.
I'm not in it, to be honest.
It's
so.
not that we're not any good, Gary. It's we're better than
I mean,
you, right?
my surprise is that Richard De La Riviere is above Schoey because I thought they'd have very similar teams.
Yeah. Now Mark Wilson, you'll see, is there on the list, right? Then Richard Shaw, right, quite close behind. Now there's Tom Maguire, look, our former producer, formerly of this
The
parish.
shadow of.
Oh, and there's Gary Schofield, look at the bottom. So you've seen it now.
Is anybody below Gary Schofield?
Only the people that don't really enter. So you
Right.
are out of 100 and
Oh,
whatever.
whoa. He's above the BBC's Rugby League correspondent.
Yeah, exactly. So you know more than him, but only by 1 point. So there you go. You've had the proof. You are rubbish. All right. Back to Hull Kingston Rovers. Scored some great tries.
Yeah, and I think praise to Tim Sheens as well. I think he's got the balance of his team right. I thought the Craig Hall Crooks partnership that they got in just before the deadline has really worked for them. Hall is a natural try scorer. He had a real impact But I thought Ben Crooks was, again, his foil. I thought the two of them were really, really well together. Haven't seen the meterage yet. For some strange reason, the stats company that normally operates won't do it outside of Super League. So if you're in the qualifiers, you don't get the stats. But I would have thought that Ben Crooks was one of the leading meter makers. Did a lot of work in midfield as well. The Mulhern try when he came inside for that. I just think the balance looks really good, and they've got a couple of important players still to come in. It is an ageing team, and it'd be interesting to know what they do next year, when obviously they need to secure what division they're going to be in. I think they should be all right. And again, quite rightly, you've highlighted Leeds' defeat, but in the table as it stands at the moment, they're no different to where they were in 2016. They are still second, but Sunday now becomes a much bigger game than it was. But Rovers need 2 more wins. I think they've got Halifax this week, which again, with
Halifax and London, aren't they?
the greatest respect to Halifax, I think they are in this qualifiers to get as much money out of it as they can, and absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't see them troubling Hull KR on the back of a big defeat at home. So again, Rovers probably 2 wins away from securing their future, and then it's how do they get a little bit more youth into their team.
I think when you looked at that Hull KR performance as well, as I wanted the Leeds players to do, the big game players to step up. Leeds players didn't do that, but the Hull KR players did. Phil just mentioned the combinations from there, and I say that combination with Crooks and Craig Hall as well. But since he's gone to Hull KR, Craig Hall, has he put an extra yard or two of pace on? Because I tell you what, he did show some pace as well, the kids. But as you mentioned, Maguire from up there, to the fullback, he was outstanding from there. But the big game players stepped up for Rugby Rovers, and they deserve the victory.
But how good were the players that you wouldn't normally associate with being big game? Danny Tickle, 80 minutes. That's as good as I've seen him play.
How experienced is Danny Tickle?
But he used his experience. Chris Clarkson, how good was he in the contributions that he made? Ben Kavanagh, when he came off the bench, made a real impact.
How important is it that, for me, Hull KR have been planning for this 7 games since the day they got promoted?
They knew where they're going to be. They knew they were going to be bottom 4, and they're ready for it. They're prepared for it, and they know themselves. With the victories what they've had, certainly on Saturday, the 2 more victories away, and they are safe in Super League. They will go nowhere near the £1 million game.
The only fortunate thing for them, if there is fortunate, although they capitalised on it, was the meltdown at Lee. Because would they have got Crooks and Hall if Lee had made the top 4?
Well,
probably not.
Well, Hull KR couldn't care less about Leeds' problems.
No,
Leeds'
but
problems,
what I'm saying is
they went in there, didn't they?
Yeah,
so
but
why not?
imagine they didn't have those players, because Leon had made the top 4.
But they have got the players.
Who would they have gone out and recruited?
Players available that Leeds could have signed as well. Let's have a look. Who's that moaning? Come on, let's have it on, producer. Come on, we're getting moaned at.
We don't have a producer.
We're getting moaned at. Not being rude, said Maggie. Well, I am really. However, in 2 hours of rugby league, or 1 hour of your personal curry, fantasy league, and general rib digging at each other, and 1 hour of rugby league. Well, we're putting the boot in on Leeds, unless you are a Leeds fan, Maggie, which I don't believe you are. But we are talking about the big issues. 2 hours rugby league anywhere else on a Monday night? You're free to go, we're not bothered.
We can have Schoey chased by a bull or something if people think that's
could do.
entertaining.
Come on.
Do that.
Actually, that sounds a good idea.
Or we could talk about football. Could do that. Do you want to talk about football?
No, because West Ham, they're my team.
Rubbish, aren't they? Yeah.
West Ham are my team.
Come on, Maggie, give me a script.
West Ham and Leeds Rhinos. No wonder you're growing a moustache.
You're a jinx.
People have asked about that as well. The moustache.
Is there a worm?
Why
in
is
the
that?
building?
It's more timber, as far as Schoey is concerned.
Motem.
So,
more timber.
right, let's have a look at these qualifiers then. Salford top of the pile, 3 wins from 3. Impressive, but they've played Halifax and Widnes, who are the 2 weakest teams in it.
Interesting game with Toronto this year.
But they went to Hull KR and beat Hull KR, which was very surprising the first game as well.
The manner in which they beat them as well.
Correct, absolutely. So Salford, they're safe, don't worry about
safe.
that. They're safe.
Leeds?
No 2 ways about that. Leeds.
They've got Leeds and Widnes to play.
Don't rule them out of the £1 million game. That's what I'll say about Leeds. I've got to do, after what I've seen, certainly, last Saturday afternoon. Don't rule them out of the £1 million game.
Toronto.
I think they're safe.
You think they'll make the 3?
I do.
I have a feeling they might still be in the £1 million game.
Rich?
Toronto, yeah, they're going up.
Okay. Toulouse, 4 points out of 6.
I think their game with London this week is massive, because I think Toronto will be in the £1 million game, and they will either be playing Toulouse or London, and they play each other this week.
So you think Leeds are going to be safe, Phil?
I think Leeds and Hull KR and Salford will be safe.
Okay.
For me, Widnes should have been in the £1 million game, but they're not. I think it's going to be straight relegation for them.
London. I watched them on Saturday and they give 30 points
Which is exactly what they did against
Leeds. Yeah.
They cannot do it at this level. Every mistake that you make will be capitalised on. And they played some lovely rugby with 20 minutes to go, exactly like they did against Leeds, but they cannot afford to give teams a start.
But also, as well, when you saw some of them tries as well for Toronto, they didn't have to work for them, did they? They were just given to me, and as you mentioned, week in and week out, doesn't matter if you don't, if you don't bring your A game. Most weekends, you're going to get turned over, and it doesn't matter what league you're playing, and you can't give anybody a 30-odd point start, 20-odd point start, because you ain't going to come back into it, and that's what they did. That's what they did. Exactly the same as the black and whites. We'll come up with the black and whites very soon.
But a big, I think, big win for Toulouse. They've beaten a Super League team. Can they now back that up in London? Because the way they play. It just exposes other teams because there's no structure. You don't know what they're going to do with the ball. They don't know what they're going to do with the ball. And I think that if they can get over London, which I'm not saying they will, that's a really interesting game.
It's that tight though now, isn't it? One bad day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not only that, points difference. Points difference could be, you could be safe in a £1 million game at home or away or in the bottom three.
It's probably an opposite time to bring up the NRL at the moment as well. We are not comparing like with like, but you mentioned points difference. The season has just finished in Australia, where we accept 100% they have far more players out there to choose from. But it's a salary cap sport, and the idea of a salary cap in any sport is to level out the teams. And this hasn't happened every year, but this year, 2 points has separated the top 8. And you are genuinely going into their playoffs this week with any one of those 8 teams can win. And you talk about points difference. The very last game of the regular season was Brisbane and St George, and the live table as to where the teams were finishing in the 5 to 8 position changed with every point scored. Now I know we mention this every minute matters, but Brisbane went 20 points ahead, and all of a sudden it's you'll be at home in the playoffs. Then they conceded a try. You'll be away. We saw it with the top 4. Sydney Roosters chasing Melbourne. Every time they scored, they're getting a little bit nearer, and then they win. That's what we need to aim at. That's got to be our aim.
Yeah, but also
we have a league that anybody who qualifies for the playoffs can win.
But also as well, when you ask about commitment and desire and purpose, Canberra Raiders, they couldn't make the top 8, but how well did they play? Just for the pride of the jersey, the pride of their own professional performance, and I say, we'll go to the black and whites about that disgraceful performance from there. But you looked at the way Canberra, they wanted to win that. That is the difference between the NRL and the Super League, is that they need to play the best week in and week out. If not, they'll get turned over.
And that might just be to do with not only the number of games that we play.
Yeah, they've got better quality players, Phil.
But maybe we need to, instead of looking at, people are talking about increasing Super League to 14 teams, maybe we should be looking to decrease it to 10, because we'll get a better quality game.
Interesting. You talk about not knowing who's going to win. I couldn't tell you now who's going to win the grand final. With those 4 teams.
My only worry is that we don't get to capitalise on that now.
Yeah, I get that.
That if the season started a month later, which it should, and we'd had the last round of games this week, and we were going into the semi-finals next week, how excited would we all be? But it's almost like we've got to tread water for a month. And you don't know who's going to be injured, and you don't know who's suddenly going to be in form or out of form. But as we sit today, if you were to say that this weekend we're playing St Helens against Warrington and Wigan against Castleford, you wouldn't be certain of predicting the winners of either of those games.
At the minute, if you had to pick a grand final, wouldn't Wigan Cast be the
I was just going to say that. The way that it's going to look like it's going to finish up the way that everybody's playing, Wigan and Cass, everybody, that would be the best grand final for us, the way that both teams are playing. Certainly, look at the way how attractive now are Wigan playing. The players literally are enjoying that environment what they're in. We all know that Sean Wayne's leaving. We all know they want to play for Sean. And now Casford, they're coming right at the right time from there. Saints have blown it for me, even though I tipped it for the treble. Warrington, I'm not so sure from there. But what a pity it's going to be. The way it will end up that Wigan and Cass are going to play in the semi-final.
What I would say about Wigan's performance is I think that's the best the team has played this year. I think they had a lot of things that could have gone against them, not least a fabulous fervent crowd that were there to see St Helens pick up silverware. But I just thought the way Wigan approached it and the way they so enjoyed every score amongst each other, you could tell that it meant more to them than just the 2 league points. They did that for Sean Wayne. They knew that perhaps that was Sean Wayne's last derby game. It's certainly going to be, you would think, his last one at St Helens. I don't see either of those teams falling away, so that they'll play each other again. It could only be in the grand final. And they wanted to give him something. That, to me, was his team saying, whether we get you the grand final or not, we know how much Saints means to you. We want to come off this field spoiling their party. I thought that was the best the team has played this year. Wigan were fabulous.
I think it's the best performance from the Sean Wayne, to be honest with you. I just thought it was sensational. Everybody, not just an individual, but a team collectively. And we're talking about signings, man, can't we? How good is that Greenwood? I like Greenwood at St Helens. I thought it was a quality back rower. He went to Australia, didn't work out because over there the back rowers they get used as battering rams. He's not a battering ram.
And they've got a lot of back rowers at the Gold Coast Titans, and he just fell down the pecking order because the coach.
But Philly, but Philly,
they were internationals ahead of him.
No, he wasn't used right. If he were used right, he would have been smashing up the NRL. Because look at Elliot White, what he does at Canberra. He plays that wide. But what I'm saying about Greenwood here now is fitted in very well. Playing on the edges, he's not just quick, he's got some good ball skills. I'll tell you what, he'll create a load of bucket loads for the centres out wide.
What I will say, and no doubt again, we're getting to the point of dream teams being selected, Man of Steel shortlist soon. I think
Who's going to be Man of Steel? Who's going to be Man of Steel now?
Well, let's put that out there.
Who's going to be Man of Steel? It can't be Barber.
No,
it can't be Barber. I tell you what, as well. I said it to Richard Delaviers. It's in my column today from a point of view where if Sean O'Loughlin could play more minutes, he would be Man of Steel, head and shoulders above everybody else. But he doesn't play enough game time, as we know from there. But how important, how good a player is he? You know, Sean O'Loughlin, and it's just sensational for not just as a warrior and leader in defence, organisation, the respect what he has from his players, and what about the bond he's got with his coach, Sean Wayne? Sensational, brilliant.
John Bateman for me.
The
way he's playing at the moment.
If you had to vote now, Bateman, where are you going?
I'll not think about that.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah,
let's have yours at Forty20 Live on Twitter. You can get in touch via the Forty20 Facebook page. A lot of people have been doing that. Remember, share, like, retweet, let people know we're here. That's all we want. And subscribe to the podcast if you would be so kind as well. It's available on iTunes.
I said it the other week. The centre at Wakefield.
Bill Tupu.
He's on an outstanding season. Yeah, he's on an outstanding
season. Definitely a dream team. Right?
He's on an outstanding season. He has.
Yeah, we better make sure we spell his name right then, otherwise you won't get in the team. It'll be a disaster. In terms of Man of Steel, Michael Carter says Bill Tupu. Does he get a bonus for that? That'd be the question.
No, is it his contract?
Yeah.
Our vote can be bought.
Yeah. For a few or our non-vote.
Also, Paul McShane, obviously. There's another name who's up there.
Yeah.
James Roby, not Ben Barber anymore. Some people, Eddie Hemmings keeps telling me, were saying Ben Barber should have won Man of Steel months ago. But I don't know who those people were.
I think, wasn't it the same people that were saying that? Oh no, never mind.
Never mind. Let us have yours. Lots of people getting in touch. Paul McShane's name has come up already quite a lot. I mean, he's playing really well at the minute, isn't he?
Outstanding. You know what, Macca? When he's got selected in the England squad, his form seems to go off, doesn't it? You know, so he's got left out. Has he been called back into it? No. So when he's been left out, and then when he gets called into it, for some reason, it seems to go off the ball. So at the end of the day, don't pick the England squad until after the grand final, and McShane might get in there because he's been outstanding. Level of consistency, what I'm sure Dallas wanted from him, and we've had that all season from him.
New Zealand have picked their 38-man squad for the tests over here.
Have they?
They've got some quality. It's going to be a brilliant series. It's just a shame that one of the games has been moved.
I was going to say, we said right at the start, I've got a little bit of praise for the RFL, I've got a little bit of grumble to nick someone else's saying, but the game at Anfield has been moved because Everton are playing. Well, we've known the Premier League fixtures since
July,
June.
Well, when were the fixtures announced for these test matches?
Early, but irrespective of that.
If they were announced before the football was,
but irrespective,
they can change. The football fixture computer can know when these things are.
When there was a grand final at Old Trafford, there was a Rugby Union World Cup game at the Etihad,
which had
almost
less people
the same
time.
How far is that?
I really don't think that because another sports game is being played on the same day.
They're too close to each other, apparently.
How far away is it from Liverpool? Is it near?
It's not far.
Oh, it's just across the road, is it?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so I can see why, but it's disappointing. I know already there's been people saying, well, booked to come for the weekend and now I can't come or whatever. Or
absolutely.
It doesn't time with what I was wanting to do. It is unfortunate. It's poor, isn't it, if we're honest. What I do want to give them some praise for the RFL is we've now got live streaming. We're involved in live streaming at our previous home, and what a great job the guys did with that and are still doing with that. But so we had the Bulls on, that's great. Then we had Workington York on, fantastic.
Loved it.
Dave Parkinson did a great job on that. We all had a check-in on that, fantastic.
Really enjoyed that.
But also at the same time, there's a women's game on. Yorkshire-Lancashire, which by all accounts was brilliant, but it's on at the same time. So we've gone from having none, and now we've got two.
Competing with yourself.
Come on, guys. We know because we've spoken about the Women's Rugby League, and we've asked. We streamed a Women's Rugby League game. We've asked them if they could move the kick-off time so that people can watch that and then go watch their own team. Can't do it. It can't be done. Can't be done. So you're taking away from your own audience. And it's like, oh, come on, guys, you've nearly got it right. We want more games. I mean, anyone that watched that League One game working in York, but again, by all accounts, absolutely cracking. I didn't watch it all, I was working, but I watched some of it.
It was a great game and good coverage.
Yeah,
of
good
a great game.
Good, decent
you couldn't
coverage.
take your eyes off it.
Yeah.
Replays, which was good. So it looked, and the plan is to do at least one League One game on the R League app and website for the remainder of this season.
The worry is,
but
there's
don't
a women's
compete
game
against
next week
yourself
at the same time.
Well, there's a big women's game next week at the same time as the men's team are playing. You have to move kick-offs
ladies,
to accommodate.
work with each other. Come on, get
have
the bigger
a whole
picture.
day streamed of rugby league. Don't have three things on at the same time.
Yeah. How many
Who
people?
controls the kick-off times?
Well, the RFL. Come on.
Apparently not.
Well, great that they had it on, and I mean that. It's brilliant. It is the future. It's gone from everyone's, it won't work, it won't work.
No, it will.
Interesting as well, Workington allowed the Rugby League to stream the game, but they wouldn't allow Bradford to stream.
But I think that might be on the experience of denying people the first time, and I suspect that the crowd of 1,600 was probably Workington's biggest of the season.
It was.
I think a lot of credit for that needs to go to the social media campaign.
Yeah, brilliant.
But not only they did, but they did it in concert with York, and the whole of the build-up was they want Town to win, and York actually were part of that. They got some people to say we want to, because they wanted to build it up.
Yeah.
York took a lot of fans who made a lot of noise. The atmosphere was great on the live stream. The important thing is that League One is a property that you can now stream to that quality and next year put behind a paywall. If somebody said for a fiver, even for a tenner for a season, you can watch a game every week, they've got something saleable.
Ice hockey clubs charge a tenner per game. Got to be as many people want to watch Workington and Whitehaven.
And well done to Dave as well, because we all know how hard it is to do a single commentary without a summariser.
Well, he's good at what he does. He knows what we think of him, so there's no problem there.
No, it was just good. If you were just tuning into that on spec, you would have kept on and watched it for the rest of the afternoon.
Very good.
Indeed I did, and thoroughly enjoyed it.
If the new structure comes in, that's another thing we need to discuss. York are promoted. It's as simple as that. York 2 points clear of the Bulls, who won again over Keighley. Were you back on the sauce on Sunday, Ledge? Or?
No, mate, I just had if Mum's not well, so...
All right, okay, fair. Well, she's all right. Donny now in third. Workington dropped to fourth. Oldham in fifth. And Hunslet out on points difference. It's getting tight, mate, isn't it?
No, it is. And as I say, if you don't bring your A game, we're going to get turned over, and the pressure is on. And so now it's just a matter of who can handle that pressure to get in the promotional places. And as I say, it's looking very, very good. A brilliant crowd as well, as we mentioned there. We Workington and York, fantastic.
At the moment, as we talked about the potential qualifiers, we talked about the NRL, points difference is crucial, which makes every game meaningful. How can you change the structure after another round has gone, when at the moment it would just alter the dynamic completely? It's like, Hunslet and Whitehaven are fighting now for a chance to get into the playoffs. If you drop that bar, all of the interest disappears. How can you do it?
There was a lot of speculation that the vote had been, that it was all agreed, and then it's not agreed. But as I was saying today, with the makeup of the votes and Super League get 2 votes to the Championship clubs 1, you can't tell me teams that have got a dual reg agreement aren't going to go, by the way, dual reg club, if you don't vote for this, you aren't getting any of our players next season.
Is it a straight majority or is it a percentage?
I think it's a narrow majority, as I understand it. I think they only need 4 or 5 votes.
Yeah, but do you know what could be key? The 7 votes that make up the remainder of the RFL council that go to the community, the armed forces, the schools. There are 7 votes. They are going to be crucial.
Why do they have those 7
Because
votes
that's
on
how
this issue?
the Rugby League Council. This is going to the Rugby League, the full Rugby League Council. There are 7 seats on it, aside from the clubs, for those sectors of the game. Now, whether it'd be interesting to know what information those 7 delegates are being given as to the way they should vote, because if they're voting for something that doesn't directly or materially affect them. So, if you are the representative of Schools Rugby League, who would you vote?
They should abstain.
Maybe they should. But I think those 7 votes could be absolutely critical.
Interesting. A lot of people say, why should the schools side of the game have a say?
That's the makeup of the Rugby League Council. And you have to get it through the council.
Nicholas says, any chance you could come to Canada to do a game? Nicholas, we've only just been able to afford to buy some microphones, mate. Unless you can cycle there, I think we're struggling. We would love
Maybe
to come.
not this year, but...
you could spend all day in that beer garden at the bottom of the ground, Scott. You wouldn't even have to go to the game.
Yeah, certainly the chairs and the tables, I've seen that couple doing it. Brilliant, isn't it? Eh?
7,500 there again.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're not real people. Because
Yes,
that was
I saw
pointed
that.
out by he who we do not mention.
Who wasn't there?
No.
No.
He was able to draw big crowds even when he gave the tickets away for nothing, wasn't he?
Oh, he got 7,500 on a regular basis.
By the way, Nicholas is apologising for the air show that was going on at the same time because I was out, I was away, so I didn't see it. But oh well, it's all good fun, isn't
I
it?
tell you what as well, on that pitch, what other sport do they play because of
Every-
all the lines?
every
and
sport.
everything?
Rod Studd's turned up. What's going on?
What the
Everything.
sports do they
It's
play?
a community
You can't-
sports facility,
You can't
everything.
understand all the lines on it, can you?
It's a
Oh,
community.
you play the white ones, mate. All the other ones don't count.
Imagine,
Okay.
imagine a community sports facility
Funnily
in the
enough,
Wakefield area.
the referee has to pass the pitch as playable, so there obviously hasn't been an issue.
Just imagine if the referee said, "Oh, I can't see lines.
Because when
Rock back now."
Because when I saw Kate and Brown strike, and I thought, well, the London players have stopped here. They figured it's gone dead. And
Well,
then
I
all
think
of a
they just misjudged the kick.
sudden-
more than
well, I
anything.
would just figure with the lines there.
Because-
If all of a sudden he just scoots through there and puts the ball down, and the London players like that. What's going on here? What's
just
going
don't
on?
think- I don't think they read it,
Okay.
that was all.
Right. When did he sign for them anyway? Kate and Brown.
Just before the
Yeah,
deadline.
couple of
Oh,
weeks
did
ago.
he?
Yeah.
All right. So I thought he was keen to stay at Wakefield. To be honest with you, obviously he wants more game time.
Can't get in the team, can he? Behind Tom Johnston and Ben Jones Bishop.
Well, I say from a Wakefield's point of view as well. I saw the tries the other night and all, and all right, the bubble burst, the spoiled there for the Giants in the Wakefield. But I tell you what, boy oh boy, didn't they play some attractive rugby league? What a pleasure to watch! And they said themselves to change the sort of game plan because the big boys were out from there. They didn't want to take Huddersfield up down the middle, which rightly so. And they scored some brilliant tries looking at it from there, and again they've not put the suntan lotion on like the black and whites have done, which will get ripped at them very very soon. But well done Wakefield, you were great to watch the other night.
Yeah, they got a Wigan this week, but again, can you write them off? Like Wigan on the back of a pretty emotional week, great performance. Obviously, can they back it up? They've got a 3-point cushion over Castleford, 4 games left, they need to win 3, they finished second.
I think Wakefield will now be looking for overtaking Huddersfield, finishing 5th, which would be similar to last season. I think the money that goes up by a notch if you do. So they've still got something to play for.
I think before the start of the season, we say Wakefield will finish around about 6, so I think they'll be pretty happy to finish 6, to be honest, don't you? Huh?
More money, higher you finish, more money.
New stadium? No.
New state. Oh no.
I saw your tweet.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to keep badgering that until it never happens. So it's good. But wait for the better than Hull. I said last week you got to tip Warrington against Hull. Doesn't matter. Warrington have played in the cup final. They've had like 3 days rest. Hull are crap. Hull are worse than Widnes.
So
Well, maybe not that bad.
If Hull were in the bottom 4, would they be in danger of getting relegated at the
Yes.
moment?
No, would they ever?
They would. Well, go on
Would
then.
they
Go
ever?
on then. The
Would
floor
they?
is yours.
I tell you what, would they ever? But I tell you what, could you imagine now if they were playing this week witness against Hull with each other, it'd be the lowest crowd ever, wouldn't it? Who would want to go watch that pile of rubbish? Both of them pile of rubbish, but the black and whites, hey listen, you know, some people are giving some stick, and if it's them Hull fans, I've got to say to you, and I'm going to tell you now, get your head out of the sand. And for me to see the players putting that black and white jersey on, and by the way, Warrington didn't have to play that well neither to get 80 points, I can reassure you, what I saw from there. A total lack of effort, desire, embarrassing your club, embarrassing your chairman, embarrassing your coach. You were an absolute disgrace on Thursday night, and do you know what made me laugh as well? Well, I say it didn't make me laugh. I think I was more astonished when I heard Danny Houghton say, we're in a dark place. Well, I like to know what that dark place is, because a sportsman nowadays, certainly the top Super League clubs like the Black and Whites are, you're pampered, you get everything what you want. Yeah, all right, the structure, people are going, it's about the structure, well, you know, there's nothing to play for. Yes, there is. You're playing for that jersey, you're playing for that club, and you're playing with pride. And what you did on Thursday night, it's quite simple, as your chairman has said, unacceptable. But the thing about it, fellas, is I feel sorry for Radford, because Radford can't do anything about this, because it's the players themselves as individuals with their attitude. They've got the suntan lotion on. It can't drop anybody because there's nobody to come through. They've got a few injuries, as we know, and I'm fed up of them making excuses as well. Since they went out of the Challenge Cup, they all thought, yes, it was the Challenge Cup that spot was getting to the grand final. Absolute load of rubbish. You're a disgrace. And one thing for sure, you Hull players, if you don't want to play for Hull FC, you don't want to play for Adders, be open and honest, go to your chairman and ask for a release from your contract, because at this moment in time, you're an absolute disgrace to that jersey and the club.
I'm not 100% sure about Adam Pearson's statement.
Why, Phil? Why?
I believe he should back his coach, and that's great.
And he's doing.
That's
delighted
great.
about that.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with that. I have an issue with the fact that he's saying he's just going to get rid of players. It's not as simple as that these days.
Isn't that his choice? He's the chairman.
Well, if he's
Abdul's already said he wants to leave,
if
doesn't
he's got the money to pay them off, that's fine.
That's
if
his
he's
choice.
if he's got the money.
Yeah, that's his choice.
So he hasn't said I've got the money. He's made a blanket statement saying some people will be going. Who is he going to get in to replace them? Because most of the recruitment is done for next year of the big players. So who is better than what they've already got at the moment? How many of those players who he hasn't named is he going to get rid of, who he has re-signed on new deals? Who's made that decision? Because you look at that team, who is he aiming his 4 players are going to go at?
I don't know. It's not read the team.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Jamie Shaw. He isn't playing very well at the moment.
Yeah.
He's having a crisis of form, but he is a whole lad. I'd be very surprised if he was a target to get rid of. Barreto Farimo, possibly, but is that not down to, was he an adequate replacement for Mahe Fanua? You talk about, quite rightly, you mentioned Leeds' recruitment at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Farimo's NRL record was virtually, I don't think he played a game at NRL level, but Fanua headed a lot of their stats last year.
Yeah, but it's tough to replace him as well.
I'm just
isn't
saying.
it? But yeah,
Josh Griffin.
it is my understanding his performances are a cause for concern.
But it wasn't long ago when
He was in great form.
Carlos Tuivavi signed a new contract.
He might as well be sat with me.
But he's
He might as well be
for
sat with me.
Tuli Talanoa, didn't have the best of games against Warrington.
I think he's enough credit in the bank.
Signed a new contract.
Yeah.
Liam Harris, I don't think you can lay. He obviously clearly was overwhelmed because he's
Can't
fallen.
let you can't let the blame
The kid's at the start of his career and he's got something, and he's not a 6. I don't think he's a 7. Jordan Abdul, we know, is leaving, and what I would again, really odd, but Jansen Turgut and Jordan Abdul, at the time they were coming through, were England Academy internationals. This was the hole that Adam Pearson wanted, to build around the quality academy players. Both of them will be gone. Now, it could be their own fault, absolutely. But what I'm saying, it's a very easy statement to say that we'll just get rid of everybody. Not going to get rid. Well, Scott Taylor, I'd be amazed if his name was even being mentioned. So presumably he's safe. Danny Houghton needs some help, but
Well, all right. Schoey made a comment about Danny Houghton, right? And this, I'm going to say it, right, and I'm going to get hammered for it, right? But if I give you a choice to pick out a hooker, I say, right, you can sign any hooker you want in Super League, right? I would say McShane, Parcell,
Roby,
Kyle Wood.
Adam O'Brien,
Sam Powell when he plays like he did
Sam
on
Powell.
Friday.
You know, there are some very good hookers out there, and I've missed a few off. Sean Lunt, I don't think I named him. There are some very good hookers out there. And then I get to Danny Houghton, and I know Danny Houghton is a tackling machine. He's a very good player. But is he the glue that holds them together, or is he the glue that stops them
But
playing?
don't you need a different style of hooker on your bench?
That's what you were. We
So
saw
that's
the young
where
boy
I say
come on
he
the
needs
other
help,
night,
Jez Litton, yeah.
and he's buzzing around, and he almost created a couple of chances. And I think, well, it's not surprising he didn't quite have a timing because I've never seen him play. He never plays. So again, look.
I think Danny,
he's a great player and he's done
needs
great
help
things.
because I think he is
but
your
do they need
tackling machine.
more?
Yeah. Mickey Payer. Why was he re-signed?
I thought he played alright the other night.
Dean Hadley, not the player he was when on loan at Wakefield last year at the moment.
Steady away, I wouldn't say he's
right.
you know.
Danny Washbrook,
Steady away.
Sika Manu, just signed a new deal.
I would question that.
And then on the bench are all the kids. But what I'm saying is it's very easy to say we'll get rid of 4 people.
Well, yeah.
We couldn't come up with 4 there that you would automatically get rid of. It's an easy option to go in the press and say you can just go. It's not like that anymore.
You make the point. So, well, hang on, Adam. You signed all the checks,
Yes.
mate. You signed all the contracts.
Absolutely.
So, are you blaming yourself or are you blaming the player?
Yeah, but
the focus is on the players. That statement didn't say I hold my hands up and I have made some mistakes.
Yeah, but look, listen, the way these players are playing, they are letting Pearson down, they are letting Radford down, they're letting supporters down because they have just put the Q on the rack, the suntan lotions on. Listen, listen. If you were Hull fans, like just say, you know, you were Hull fans. What you saw on Thursday night, surely you got to take your head out of the sand watching that.
What you need to go back to is that was a Warrington team that had lost a cup final,
correct,
and had a short turnaround to be beaten by 80 points.
But they didn't have to play that well neither. Phil.
It's astonishing.
Warrington didn't even have to get ripped into the black and whites.
But that 80 is on the back of 70.
They didn't have to. They didn't even have to rip into them because they were absolutely.
But all I'm
garbage.
saying is, yes, absolutely, the players take the field, but the chairman has to take some responsibility and outline how he's going to replace 3, 4, 5 players with players of better quality. Is he now saying we'll have 2 marquee players next year? Well, I don't think they can afford it.
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing for sure, what Adam said is he's put the challenge out to them players because. And I say, I'm happy with what he said. He's back in Ratsford, and if players, what I'm saying to them players is, if you don't want to play for the black and whites, if you don't want to give 100% week in and week out, go to the chairman, go to Radford and say, thank you very much, but I want to leave. Be honest with them supporters and your club.
Which is what Jordan Abdul's done.
Well, you've got to have money for it then. If you don't want to be there, clear off. And they'll bring people in who want to put on that shirt.
You've got to know who you can bring in. That's my point.
West Wales are bottom of League One. And they haven't won a game all season, and they concede lots and lots of points. But at least they're trying. Isn't the problem here? I know Hull have got injuries, blah, blah, everyone's got injuries. Yes, they've got no Albert Kelly.
They've lost all their creativity. And Jake Cobb.
That's right, yeah. And they scored very few points. But still, even without that creativity, a professional team that's probably spending the salary cap shouldn't be losing 2 games in the season, one by 80 points, one by 70 against a Wakefield team. That's ridiculous.
Was it who was it? Was it Darryl Powell? I think that about a month ago, when Cass were being slightly inconsistent, picked out Hull and said the attitude of Hull and the way that they play for each other and the way that they're defending for each other. That's the kind of spirit that we want to get.
Yeah,
what's happened to Hull?
Yeah, but there was still
it's roughly the same group of players.
Phil, but there was still the Challenge Cup then. Don't worry about that, you know. And some people have even said, "Oh, Schoey, they went to Australia. What a load of tosh! What a load of."
So did Wigan, who might win the grand final.
Exactly. You know, when did they go to Australia? In February, was it? What an absolute load of tosh they've been to Australia. I'm just not buying into that. I'd say them players have got to be open and honest because the chairman and the coach have put the confidence, their trust, and by the way, listen, players go get what you want, but I would imagine they're on decent pay packages as well. Be honest with yourself. If you don't want to be there, if you don't want to put your body on the line, clear off.
So do Hull sacrifice part of next season to give players like Jez Litton more experience?
I would say so. Danny Houghton for me is past his sell
I
by
thought,
there. Been a great player for Hull.
Yeah, but
Great
you don't
servant.
know what I would do. I'd play him in the back row. He'll run it in all day. He'll tackle everything
all day.
loose.
I agree.
I think they need a little bit of something more.
I think they need somebody they can swap him with. 80 minutes is something that players want to play. I get that, but maybe Danny Houghton now needs to be playing 60, and they need to find for that other 20 someone with a bit of buzz about it. It really worked for Hull KR on Saturday. So you have 2 different hookers, and when Lunk came on, he was massive.
So as well then, when Danny Houghton came out with that comment after the game, they're in a dark place. I'm still trying to work it out. What can he mean? We're in a dark
South
place.
Cave, I think.
What could he mean? We're in a dark place. You created this dark place. You players. The club hasn't.
Create it themselves. They have, and picking up people saying, "Oh, injuries."
Oh man, I don't know about injuries. I'm not having the injuries.
But as I said, had they gone there and lost 36-10, and you think, well, they're missing the first 3 half-backs, I can forgive that. But 80 points, guys. That's like kids
But
rugby.
actually,
when the little
if they'd
kids
have lost,
can't
it
keep
needed to be
tackling.
12-10. It needed to be the defence was brilliant, but they didn't have enough to create for points. 80-0.
But
It's
also,
a scandal.
But also, Warrington didn't have to play that well.
No, they didn't.
Did they? To get the 80 points.
But as I say, if you know there's
attitude.
nothing coming back, you do what you want, can't you?
Well,
Were Hull
disgraceful.
any good in the first place, or did winning 2 Challenge Cups?
Yeah, they got to 2 semi-finals where had they played better in the first 20 minutes, they might have been at Old Trafford.
I mean, they're another one. They've lost a player of a generation in Ellis. They've not replaced him.
Who you can't. Who apparently is going on the coaching staff next year rather than the technical
I
staff.
tell you what, did you know what? I saw Gareth in the stands and he just literally had his head in his hands like this, and I'm thinking, I tell you what, mate, they're letting this club down from there. He could not believe as well what he's seen from there, and players have got to take responsibility. And he's got the coaching staff, Gareth, is he?
I think so. I think he's going to be responsible
Well, I'll tell
for the development of the young players in particular.
Right, so when we look at all the players who have re-signed for next year from there, and if he's going to sack 4 of them, or he's going to bring 4 quality players, when you look at that squad, a Hull top 4 side next year, not a cat in hell's chance. With what they've got at this moment in time, they're the bottom 4 side.
Look, let's put it in a context. I know you're not a fan of Mark Sneed, but you put him in, he makes them better than they are now. You put Albert Kelly in, he makes them better than they are now. You put in Albert Kelly and Jake Connor, they're better than they are now. So I think, in fairness, mate, I think they're not as bad as they are now, but to go to Riches, were they as good as we all thought they were? Maybe somewhere in between.
That's a question. Can I do some, while the teaser arrived, I'll do some bits and pieces.
Go on then.
Graham asked if we talked about the test match moving. We have, because he's obviously paid for hotels, train tickets back on the Saturday. It is a disgrace, Graham.
Agreed.
We don't know. The problem is, we don't know whose fault it is, because the RFL haven't said either it's their fault and just take responsibility even if it's not, or whether it is the police or
a
the
statement
football.
without a name to it, was it?
So if we knew whose fault it was, we could say, well, here's who we should blame and claim compensation, but we can't do that. West Wales, who we just mentioned, they are donating £2 for every person, every adult who attends this Sunday's home game against ex-Super League giants Bradford Bulls. Must be a different Bradford Bulls. For the David Hellard testicular cancer treatment. Admission is £7 for adults, £3 for children. CEO Peter Tiffin added, having worked with Daff on numerous occasions over the past couple of years, and most recently with the Wales under 16s, we've got to know each other very well. He's done so much for the sport and has continued to do so even under his current circumstances. Myself and the other directors wanted to help Daff and thought this fixture will be one of our biggest crowds of the season. So get down to Stephen Heath this Sunday to show our support to Daff and show we're all together in Wales Rugby League. Well done to West Wales Raiders.
Brilliant. As well, fellas, I found out today, is it right for you maybe, Anthony Seabold, who's a coach now at South Sydney, was he coaching West Wales? Yeah. Well, I tell you what, doesn't that just tell you
when there was South Wales?
When there was, I was told that today. So doesn't that tell you? Players make coaches. He did a great job at South Wales from there, but obviously it didn't work out because of the quality of players.
Well,
now
he moved on.
What I'm saying is the quality of players what he's got there. Look where he's taken South Sydney, and well done to Seabold.
And I don't want to go straight in and be contrary like everyone is these days, but I just want to point out that where's my league one here? North Wales Crusaders, West Wales Raiders, Coventry Bears, London Scholars, Hemel Stags, Newcastle Thunder all did this weekend what Featherstone Rovers Heartland club couldn't do, and that's fill their 17-man squad. And yeah, well done, you beat Lee, but it's a disgrace that you couldn't fill your squad. How can you not do that? A team who 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, were challenging for a place in the top 4, they gambled and they lost. And look what happens now. So we can't have all this, oh yeah, well done, fair, you've beaten Lee with 14 players, Lee who have, in the same situation. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that you haven't filled your bench. It's not 3 other people in February who can't play rugby. Disgraceful.
The worry I have with that is you could have had a clash of heads, 2 players on the same team, both ruled out. All of a sudden you've got 12 men. And they can do what they want. I guess they could name 30, but surely there's got to be a fine coming there.
There's got to be a duty of care.
For not fulfilling.
Is it going down that end?
Why don't you just leave them there?
Probably not.
What do you want some?
Well, you could have asked.
We're not taking them away from me because I'll eat them all.
Well,
West Wales can find 17 people, and they've conceded how many points? 1,792. There's no one in Featherstone who can play rugby league, apparently. Ridiculous.
We've said it a lot in this programme, and it's something that I passionately believe in, that you can play with the structure as much as you want. We might have another one in a week's time. It doesn't fundamentally alter the major issues of the sport, and that is participation. And this is a classic example of the issue that we've got. We are talking about the most traditional of areas that have played the sport, the rhubarb triangle. Telling me that you couldn't get another 3 players registered in time to play?
Yeah, but Phil, hold on. Professional clubs are telling 19-year-old kids, you're not good enough to be professional.
It's not,
so we're just losing them to the game.
It's not even about that.
It is.
In today's column, Phil Hodgson, who says it's not scientific evidence, has tried to ring round all the community leagues to see how many teams are no longer playing this sport. And it's a worry. And I'll just pick one as an example. And he is saying that obviously there may be some teams that have changed names and become something else. It may be that they play in different divisions. But what he said here is, let's take Hull, because we've been talking about Hull and the youth coming through. A cross-check of league tables from 2006 indicates that Hull has, over the intervening 12 years, lost Bransholme, Embassy, Hull Victoria, Pint and Pot, Bilton Sullies, Norland Sharks, Sutton Trust, Cottingham, Fenners, Ideal Iceberg, who I can remember playing in the Challenge Cup, and the Skirler Academy. Now that's Hull. That's one city where rugby league is a major sport. All of those community teams are comparatively. We'll probably get somebody who say, no, we're still playing. But comparatively speaking, Phil can't find them playing today, and they were playing 12 years ago.
Is that because they moved the amateur game to the summer rugby?
No, 2006. When did they move to the... Irrespective, I'm not sure that again is a simple answer. The fact is, not enough people are playing rugby league, and we've seen that manifested in Featherstone, one of the most traditional areas, not getting 17 players for a game. Now, full credit to the 14 that played. They must have showed tremendous spirit to win that game over Lee, although Kieran Patel wasn't too complimentary about his Lee team, it must be said. But the issue is, and I think the stat came from Gareth Walker, that there are now into double figures the number of teams in the professional and in the semi-professional ranks who haven't been able to field a full team. Unless Super League and the RFL and the 7 representatives of the various parts of the community games are addressing that at their EGM, it doesn't really matter what the structure is.
Now, apparently, I shouldn't blame Featherstone Rovers because
it's all Leeds'
as many
fault.
people have pointed out, well, A, it is Leeds' fault, but it does show you that Featherstone Rovers are Leeds' reserve grade. B, the signing deadline was over before the 8 started. Well, why didn't they have players signed up before that? Why did they release players when they got into the 8s? Why didn't they play Gareth Hawke? I'm just asking a question. It's surely you can sign players who were free agents after the deadline, like you.
Well, that's what Lee have done. Lee put 17 out, even though they released, what was it, 7 players, 8 players?
In the old days of the
and it wouldn't have
Alliance.
altered the result, but if you're going on the result, you're missing the point.
In Scottish football, in the semi-pro divisions, there are plenty of A trialists and B trialists playing. I'm sure that the Rugby Football League would rather have 17 fit bodies in a team than 30.
I don't know how they can sanction those games.
Do you think the RFL, because these two teams are going to play in the Championship Shield, aren't they, in the final? Do you think
Which will now be at Featherstone.
Yeah, so do you think the RFL, if Featherstone have only got 14 players, do you think they'll let them get away with 14 players for the Championship final?
I don't know how
Well,
you
is it
can
in the rules to
sanction
stop
a game.
it? I don't know. Is it in the rules that it can't be?
How can
Otherwise
you
the
have
game would have gone on.
HIA tests, but you're allowed to only go on with one substitute?
In shock news, by the way, Tom Holmes was released because he's injured, we know that. Garth Hock's suspended.
Right.
Council
Fair
agrees. But still,
Fair enough. It is a crying shame that they can't race.
Oh, it is.
It's more than that, though.
There's
That's
loads.
the heart of our game. Is
What
that
would
area.
have, what was serious, this is a serious question now. What would have happened had they been in the qualifiers? Would they have turned up with 14?
You can't.
and as Phil Wilkinson pointed out this week on Twitter, was it London and Newcastle had a reserve grade fixture on
Academy.
under 19 fixture? I said, Salford haven't got an academy. The whole teams technically do not have academies, and they're in the top flight. So.
And these are the issues we have to address. Not coming up with a structure that's going to damage what we've done this season, that might last another 3 years before we have to have another change because Luke fixtures didn't work. There's a surprise.
I don't know the rules. Do you want some international news?
Yes.
Bad news for Poland.
Well,
they
no,
lost-
it's not.
Well, good news for Poland. They've made their international debut.
That's it.
Bad
That's
news.
the story.
They lost 76-0 to Norway. And
Yeah,
Germany
but
lost.
That
everybody
means they're better
starts.
than all.
Yeah. So
Everybody starts somewhere. I think it's brilliant.
They competed. They competed.
But that's
against
Lee
Poland.
Bradford signed up to the
That-
polls.
And it's not round the corner, Poland to Norway. I think that's a fabulous effort to get there and play their first international. And they'll now be going on to the Emerging Nations World Championships.
There you go. And Germany lost 38-22 to the Netherlands, but they did make 11 changes and played some 17 and 18-year-olds. 25 players from the Bundesliga this year getting the chance to play for Germany, said our man in Germany.
There
So
you
the
go.
Germans have got strength in depth,
Yeah.
but not Featherstone Rovers.
The Griffin Cup remains in Holland.
Very good.
I don't want it to seem like I'm picking on Featherstone.
No,
I'm
it's an
picking on
important
Featherstone.
issue. It's not.
It's not. It could have been
it's
anyone.
key to the sport.
Yeah.
How have we got to the point where? And again, I admire everybody that plays in the community game and the work that they do, but this isn't. North Leeds Leopards turning up for an under-15s game with only 14 players.
Yeah.
This is the semi-professional game.
Matt's complaining because we haven't said enough about Wigan. Wigan are brilliant, get 30 seconds. We get ages on two Bob clubs who can't field a full side, says Matt. And in fairness, Matt, you're probably right on that one. But Wigan were very good.
Matt, we
It
have
was a
to,
great
in
game.
fairness, we did say we
Enjoyed
hope
it.
Wigan get to the final.
We did
what
say-
else do you want
I
us
think
to
I may
say?
have mentioned John Bateman was my choice of
Yeah, by the
Man
way,
of
we had to
Steel.
think of Man of Steel yet. Ask Matt, who would be your thought? Who would be your?
Yeah, I said the
Man of
Wakefield
Steel?
sent to me.
Or Bill Tupper.
And I say, but if Sean Loughlin, if you could pick it on quality and minutes, Sean Loughlin would be head and shoulders with
I'd be
anybody else.
tempted to stick Remy Casty's name in there as well.
But if the Wigan fan, if he reads my column today, Wigan they're heading for the grand final glory. Don't worry about that.
So
the way
they're beating
going.
Cass, are they?
Well,
Who have you predicted being in the grand final?
Not Widnes.
Have you predicted Wigan and Cass in the grand final?
No, because they're going to play each other.
Remember about 2 months ago, everyone saying, "Oh, we don't want to play Saints in the semi-final." Now everyone's going, "Oh, we don't want to play Wigan in the semi-final."
I should also say thank you to Manchester Rangers who lost to Bury this week. But they have sent
Why
me a
did you have them on
t-shirt.
your
They
coupon?
sent me a t-shirt. Which
Hang on, hold on.
He's getting some gear, sure, right, isn't he?
Can see, I have to say.
He's getting
In
some gear,
fairness-
isn't he? Sure, right. He's getting some gear.
In fairness to Manchester Rangers, they've sent a large, which is very flattering.
You got to move this
I've got
way.
to go this way.
Yeah.
So Manchester Rangers are LFC. Obviously, the Rangers bit crucial. As Phil walks past the camera, crucial part of history in rugby league. So thank you very much, Manchester Rangers. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I've got Catalan Dragon's hat for you as
And
well.
Gary's been on saying, can Schoey be the new coach of Widnes? Can't do any worse. Gary the Viking says that.
Look, as the
bit
legend
harsh,
said, it's the players that make coaches. Widnes ain't got any players. so Scully's not
Listen,
coming.
again, I'll answer that quite simple. I've been involved and coached players who are rubbish, and I don't want to do it again. Simple as that.
Here's a question. Widnes look like they're getting relegated.
Which is are getting relegated.
Presumably, they won't vote for one up, one down, because it's harder for them to get back up.
in.
So when they say it's 11-1 for Super League clubs that are going to support the proposal, are Widnes now going to vote in favour of retaining the eights because it gives them a much greater chance of coming back up again?
Say what for Widnes as well, when they do get relegated in the next 3 or 4 weeks, Are they any chance of coming back in the Super League? What do you think?
I think no.
All the contracts become null and void.
Yeah, I
so
know
all
that,
of
yeah.
the great young players that they've brought through, and that their only saving grace is that some of the young players that are coming through, like Ollie Ashelbot and Matt Whitley, they do look like good players. But other clubs, the Vampires will, the Magpies will be out to
I
pick
did
them
see
up.
a tweet the other day from one of our long-time suffering Widnes fans that said one of the young kids hasn't been picked because he's due a small bonus in his contract and they won't let him play.
That happened at
Yeah,
Wakefield.
that happened in my days. In my day, if you
So
play,
what does that say about
Well,
it?
it-
I mean, I haven't asked the question to Widnes. I've got to be honest.
But I tell you what, though, you asked me the question earlier, didn't you, regarding McDermott at Leeds, sacking him. I've witnessed done right by sacking Dennis Betts. Has it been any better?
I don't know. Well,
Has it been any better? But the board had to sack him because I was at the game when Wakefield hammered him there that night, and the anger and the hatred towards you from the fans. The board had to do something. But has that been the right call by sacking Dennis Betts?
But has that anger and hatred now? It's not aimed at Francis Cummins.
No.
It's aimed
Suddenly
at
they've
the board.
realised.
They've realised. Yeah. Well,
Which I think they did realise.
I went the game after they sold Brown right at the start of the season, if memory serves.
Just
I went to
before-
the first game of the season, and that club at that point was dying. The fans there knew their club, as they knew it, was on the slide, and sadly, that is what's happened.
But also as well now then, reverse that the way that Hull are playing, right, and now the fans are going at the Widnes board and saying it's your fault. Do you think the Hull fans will be happy with what Pearson said, i.e., this is disgraceful, it's not good enough, and I'm going to ship players out and bring
I think
players.
you've got to name the players. I think you've got to name them.
No, but what I'm saying is he trying to cover his own back to keep the fans on side?
He's trying to keep the fans on side because they're launching season
Well,
tickets.
exactly, you'll be launching that soon,
And he needs the money,
On the subject of launching season tickets, which virtually every club is doing at the moment, how can you do that when you don't know what the structure is for next season? What are you buying?
Tim's asked a very interesting question. If the Super League lose the EGM, or whatever the Super League want, which we understand is getting rid of the 8,
Yeah.
will they break away?
It's got to happen, hasn't it? It's got to happen. If they don't win, then they just go, I'll tell you what, lads, we're not right bothered anyway, because us, however many are off. I think that's their call. If it goes against them, they go, right, lads, that's us done.
The question then becomes the next television deal. Do the Super League clubs, through Rob Elston, negotiate their own television deal, which will take any of the money that's on offer? That's the danger.
But is that, as I understand, again, and I don't know all the details, but as I understand it, an agreement was made whereby the Championship clubs get their funding now as they're entitled to.
Until 2021.
And with an agreement that they will get a percentage of any future TV deal. So they are still included in that.
But if they break away, they wouldn't have to.
Well, they wouldn't have to.
The question then, if they break away, and yes, they might, is what do they do about expanding Super League? If, let's say, Toronto...
Well, is it going to be franchise, as in there's only 12
I don't know.
and
But
there's
if,
12 in it
say,
all the time?
Toronto win the £1 million game this year,
Yeah.
are we talking about a Super League as constituted in the end of this season, so Widnes wouldn't be in it and Toronto would, or is it the current Super League that break away because the meeting is still in this season?
Or is it invitation only?
The Super League then, when they've broken away, say, well, we'll have Bradford and we'll have...
I don't know.
Pete has said there's no chance Super League clubs can afford the infrastructure of the Rugby Football League, benevolent funds, referees, etc. etc. Depends.
They could hire it in, though, as a service.
Yeah.
Media relations.
Is the game in a mess?
Yes.
I think it's at a crossroad, another crossroad.
No, it's the same
This
crossroad.
is a big one.
The shame is it's at the same crossroads it was at the beginning of this season. And what we've now got to is an inert year where we're now coming to the end of the season and the issues that were on the table at the beginning are still on the table at the end. And logic would say, but this isn't logic, it's sport and business. 2019 has to be a mirror of this season. And whatever they're talking about at an EGM has to now be for 2020. Now, that won't suit the Super League clubs as currently constituted, but is it fair on everybody? Is it particularly the supporters to keep it for one more year? I mean, I don't like the 8s. I didn't like them when they came in, but I think it's worse to change a structure 2 weeks before the end of the season.
People don't like the eights.
But
I've Sky got
Big
a
crowd at Halifax.
yeah,
Great support from Salford, by the way, apparently.
About 1,000 now, only.
Yeah. Big crowd at
Which
Leeds.
isn't-
Leeds OKR look
which
great
is-
on the
which
telly.
is-
Oh, OKR fans.
but
give
let's not get
praise.
carried away that 1,000 fans supporting a Super League team is great, because their home support is only double that. They're still only getting around about two.
So why have they gone to that game then?
Because those are the passionate hardcore that will be there.
No, they didn't
But
take
it's
1,000
it's great.
to Leeds, did they, in
But-
Super League?
I think they've got a hardcore of 1,000 travelling fans and maybe 2,000 home fans.
Yeah, they've got
Is
their
that
support
enough?
is great.
Is that
When we
enough?
say every time we go, the noise,
Yeah,
they just need
but
more
is it
of them.
enough?
Look, that's not
to
my
sustain
point.
them
My
as a
point
Super
is
League
why Halifax getting bigger crowds. Leeds good crowd. 7,500 at Toronto. Nearly 3,000 at Toulouse. People want to watch these games.
They want to watch meaningful
Because they
games.
mean-
Yeah, competitive games, exactly.
But that doesn't mean that the eights is right. It means that we found in the mire of the guillotine, watching people getting their heads chopped off, that there's more interest in that than at the top end. I thought the atmosphere was fantastic at St Helens. I thought the build-up was negligible.
Right.
You wouldn't have known that was a game where a trophy could have been given away and was the top two teams in the league playing in a real big derby fixture. And I think that's where we've got it wrong. We talked to, and I'm not comparing.
But is that
we
only
talk-
because St Helens have been that good, they're that far in front? Had they been level on points?
No, I think if you're gonna, my worry for St Helens would be they didn't sell that game out.
Well, I've had this conversation with people at St Helens, as you know, when they're moaning Huddersfield bring 50 fans and Catalans don't bring any. So how many Saints fans are there? You only had 9,000 and you've got the best player in the competition, the best team in the competition.
Yeah.
That should be your concern,
Absolutely.
not blaming everyone else for not bringing their own fans. But is the problem, and this is the big problem, and this is why it'll never get resolved, is that the chairman would rather have 14 home
Absolutely.
games that are less
Absolutely,
populated
100%.
rather than having 11 home games with a bigger crowd.
Yes, and that's
because the
where-
more often their gates are open, the more rubbish they sell that they feel keeps them going.
Yeah.
And while you make it easy, as you've just said,
Yep.
what's better for Saints, having 14 games with 9,000 or having 11 with 12,000?
But they've got a stadium that holds 18,000. The aim should be 11 games with 18,000.
No, of course it should, but it's not that easy, is it?
No,
You know,
but I do think.
And we only pick on them because they made
Yeah.
an observation and they hosted the biggest game in
Absolutely.
Super League this weekend.
No, I think that we are spending too much of our profile at the wrong end of the table. And again, go back to the NRL. I'm not comparing like with like. We are not the NRL. But the sole focus now is on the 8 best teams. The other teams don't play anymore. And the excellence is the only thing that's on the agenda. Every key performance indicator in the NRL this year is up. Television ratings, crowds. They're going to make did they say 50 million Australian dollar profit this year over and above what?
Yeah, but Phil, each week their competition, their games are far better
And
now,
isn't,
aren't they?
but,
Week in and week out.
but shouldn't we be coming up with something that gives us the probability of having the best games every week?
Yeah, but we don't have the same quality of players, do we? That's the problem. That's the massive problem.
Which again is partly down to participation being the
I agree.
biggest issue.
I agree.
Well, it's a rock and a hard place, isn't it? Because in Australia this weekend, the teams that finished 9th and below aren't playing.
Absolutely.
They've done.
Yeah.
So they've got to watch on and think, I want to be in that 8 next year.
That's correct.
We want to be in that 8.
That's the motivation.
And in here, it's everyone. It's like the old school sports day. Well,
Yeah.
everyone's got to play. Everyone will get a badge.
absolutely.
Well done, lads. You can all have 30 games. Well, how's about you get more games if you're good, or more games if you're that bad? You've got to prove yourself to get back in. You know what? You made a point, right? I remember. I forget when you said it, and you said it at the bottom. We should maybe just say you play, and if you win a game,
You're out.
you're in.
Yeah.
And that's you done.
For me, if you're going to keep the 8s, the bottom 4 play off against each other.
Yeah.
So the first game is Leeds against Widnes. Whoever wins that, the season's finished.
Yeah.
Whoever loses is still on the merry-go-round.
Play again next week.
And then you've got Salford and Hull KR. They play each other. The winner's season's finished. You can start recruiting for next year. You've earned the week extra. The team that loses goes into the Super League playoff, if you like.
Yeah.
The team that wins that playoff, be it Widnes or Hull KR, whoever, their season's finished. There is one team left standing. They are in what you might call the £1 million game. You replicate that with the top 4 in the Championship. So Toronto kick off against Halifax. and London play against Toulouse, and you get to the point where one team is the top of the Championship, one team is the bottom of Super League, but everybody's had the chance, and the higher up you finish just gives you another chance, and at the end of it, you've got one game that determines who gets promoted.
Do you think the eights, as they are, would be better received if A, the bottom team in Super League got relegated automatically, and B, you said, right, the next team, so whoever was second bottom, I forget who it was, off the top of my head, whoever was second bottom, they go into the playoffs with the top four in the other one and do it that way.
It would okay, I want it was second
Yeah, do that then. And if that's the rule, that's the rule.
Whatever we do, I want to do it for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
But the problem, as we've gone back to, is that we play too many games that don't mean anything.
Absolutely.
And the people that are voting are the people that actually want to play more games.
We have played too many games, full stop.
Yeah.
So the first thing we need to say is, how do we come up with a structure to get nearer to the intensity that you're talking about? We have to play less games of higher quality.
But
how many times this year have we seen a game like Saints and Wigan on Friday night?
Not too many.
Yeah, exactly.
Not too many. But as I said through the week to you for last week, at the end of the day, what the chief executive and chairmen are thinking about is quite simple. It's more about revenue and money rather than quality, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've got to get away from that philosophy, haven't we?
Yeah.
Because the more quality what we bring, more people come from the turnstiles, won't they?
Absolutely.
Isn't that common sense?
That's the theory.
Isn't that common sense?
You look at Bradford Bulls when they were top of the league getting 20,000 every week. That team was outstanding.
Well, listen, why...
You got Knowsley Road, it's full every week. You got Central Park, it was full every week.
So it's like Castleford. Why do you think they have made a £600,000 profit? I'll tell you what, it's not because of the ground. They're not going down Weldon Road because of the ground.
No.
The ground's an absolute mess, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a tip.
Yeah.
But they're going down there because they see quality rugby league week in and week out. It's as simple as that. And I say, if you see you get the quality, then people will come and watch you. They will. And meaningful games.
Lots of people like Phil's idea. Mark, though, doesn't. The Rugby League public, he's speaking on behalf of the Rugby League, but you're not speaking on behalf of me, Mark. He says, simply want 2 up, 2 down, with a parachute for the teams going down to stop them going bust. Now we shouldn't be helping teams to stop them going bust. It's their own fault. Lee are in the position they are in because it's Derek Beaumont's fault. No one else's. And yet we have to blame everyone else. Sick of it. Tim says, if I can find it, because I was going to do this and then went off on something else. I don't know if Super League should break away, says Tim, but I know Championship and League One clubs shouldn't be wagging the dog. It's schools rugby you've got to worry about, Tim. Schools rugby. They could be fighting for something else.
No one's been wined and dined, you know. The old,
Yeah, it's the old cynical. Come with me, and this is what I'll give you. I'll put £100,000 into schools rugby if you vote for me.
Connie's not happy. He's one of our regular witness fans. He says, how do we have regular fans after 2 shows? Francis Cummings' comments are a disgrace and proof he's sucking up to those above him. Say what you mean, Con. The players aren't giving up, it's the board who've given up. It's not the players' fault, they are nowhere near good enough. The players are devastated with the situation.
I just think, as a professional sportsman, when you take away the ability to win anything, it must be harder. And I know you say you play for your own professional pride, but when you're getting hammered every week, and you're looking around and thinking, why is he here? Why are they here? Why am I still here?
Because let me tell you this, because some people said to me, Schoey, what about when Wigan hammered you 70 odd points, this sort of thing? So I said, yeah, listen, I'll hold my hands up. They hammered us 70 odd points, but unfortunately, they were a far better side than what we were. We didn't give in, and this sort of, but unfortunately, they just had the far better players up, and we couldn't stop it.
Did they have a bloke on the wing who scored 10 tries?
Yeah, we couldn't stop it, Gene Miles and all. We all know what the Wigan side were like, so we couldn't stop it. It wasn't for lack of trying and showing that bit of effort and commitment. They were just a far superior side than what we were. But
I'll get the match report out and see what it says.
And for the coach, to say like in Francis,
get the match ratings.
I think I might have got 8 again, but anyway.
You know what it'll be.
Eight less than 10.
You know what it'll be.
Pete Smith. But anyway.
No, it was Trevor Watson.
Trevor would have given me a 9.
Pulled calf 5.
Trevor would have given me a 9 out of 10. Don't worry about that. But for Francis Cummings to come out and what he says, I've got to applaud him, because at the end of the day, he's entitled to his opinion, even though they're his own players. He can only comment on what he's seeing, and he's right to say about his players, because they will get in the sack. Will Francis Cummings be the coach who win this next year? But he's not.
He might be on Kevin Sinfield's coaching staff, because James Lowe's off to Catalans, isn't he?
Is he?
Apparently.
Who is?
I read it on the internet.
Who's got
must be
Catalans?
true.
James Lowe's.
Is he?
Yeah, that's what he said on the internet.
Louis Anderson's retiring. from.
Is he going to be on the coaching staff as well?
just saying, he's retiring.
We should.
Today's breaking news.
Also retiring, Jonathan Thurston. That was quite exciting last week. And
What a montage, though.
he's had quite a decent career, hasn't he? He's done all right.
Played all right.
What would you like to say about Thurston?
Oh, just simply one of the best, isn't he? And I read the comments from Tim Sheens, you know, and I say I play with the great Peter Sterling, and people say, well, are we going to have any quality halfbacks from there? Boy, oh boy. The Aussies not actually on the quality halfbacks, don't they? You know, even after that, they had Fittler and Joey Johns and Lockyer, and then Jonathan Thurston. Well, Jonathan Thurston's done stuff with a rugby league ball that I don't think too many could do. Wally Lewis is the best I've ever played with. Wally Lewis is the best I've ever seen. There will never ever be another Wally Lewis, I can reassure you that. But JT, you know, from a small man, he was told again, Valsey was by Tim Sheens, you're not big enough. Canterbury got shut of him. Boy, oh boy, what a massive mistake that was. But the kid himself, defensive-wise, I'm not really bothered about half-backs tackling, but he didn't shirk the issues from there. But as far as a guy who can control a game with ball in hand, his organisation, and when I mention it again, that vision and awareness, what he plays.
No one can hear you now. You'll have to give it a
That, you know, the vision and awareness what he plays with, and his kicking game, you know, absolutely sensational, and there's no doubt about it. Jonathan Thurston will be an immortal. It's as simple as that.
And I think as well, it's the work that he's done for the indigenous.
Oh yeah, the indigenous, yeah.
Which is absolute. We shouldn't, discount any of that when we're because everything he's done, you know, giving his scrum cap to kids, giving his kicking tee to kids, the indigenous game was all part of his idea.
I'll just mention that as well. For when the Storm came to Leeds, and he's Isaac, my grandson. It's his favourite player, and I'm like, it's me. I'm your favourite player. He's your granddad anyway. No, but anyway, so Isaac came up there, and JT, you know what? He gave him one of his head guards, had the picture taken, and literally now he's got the photograph in his bedroom as Isaac, and he just literally loves Jonathan Thurston, and that's the appeal of what he has had to everybody in rugby league.
And how
good, both on and off the field, sensational.
How good was it that when his team ran out, bearing in mind that this is a team that were fighting to avoid the wooden spoon, haven't had the best of years, have gone from playing in a grand final to that they all ran out with a head guard on.
Yeah, brilliant tribute.
How good was that?
Brilliant, absolutely.
I wonder what we're doing for farewelling our players. Is the game going to put videos together for some of the guys who are retiring?
They come out about 5 minutes after the doors open at Old Trafford and say,
Right.
I don't know, maybe they'll do something properly this year, who knows. We should say 2 things. I need to write all these things down. 1, well done Warrington. They're the world champions.
They are.
They're the world champions.
They are. PDRL world champions. As I said the
It
other
is their
day,
year.
I said the other day, Schoey, you have been top trumped. They got Johns playing for them. Leeds got Schofield.
And lost.
It's a bit. I wasn't man of match in that game as well, wasn't I?
No.
It's a bit. I was.
No.
If you'd have put a vote,
I got hammered, by the way, on social media this
So you
weekend.
should.
I got
So
hammered.
you should.
I saw this, yeah.
I got absolutely hammered. Right?
Hold on, if you'd have asked the 500 fans who were at that game against Warrington when I played, I bet you 85% would give me the man of the match.
What's your disability, Wilson? You should have sent back at Gary Schofield 6.
Yeah, I got abused for being a Bradford fan for playing for Leeds Rhinos.
Yeah, so you should. You are a Bradford fan.
Right.
You are a Bradford
But
man.
we got
You
asked
hate
to
Leeds.
play to promote.
No, you only played. You played for Leeds, but I wanted to play for Warrington to bash you, but I wasn't allowed.
But
to.
you're a big Leeds fan and you wanted to play for Warrington.
No, but the Leeds fans would have understood that because I wanted to bash you because you're a Bradford fan and you can't stand Leeds.
I didn't make no secret of that. It's not like I've.
Well, why do you want to
I've
put a
hidden
Leeds?
it,
Why
is
do you want to put a Leeds and gloating in the programme with a Leeds shirt on, gloating all over social media? You know, kissing the badge, gloating all over, kissing the badge, gloating all over. You were kissing badge in dressing room. I saw you.
I wiped his
Oh,
nose
one of them
on it
pizzas.
afterwards. Wiping his nose on the back.
That's a bit harsh, Mr. Shaw, right?
Well, we're getting hammered for it. It's so
Honestly.
unfair.
So that was the first thing I was going to say. Now I can't remember the second one, but I'm sure it was important. All the grand final entertainment. We're all old, so we don't know who Blossoms are. But I've asked a young person,
Yeah.
who's not here, and he says they're good. So,
Right, okay.
and they've
Who is it?
tweeted out today.
Well-
They're called Blossoms.
Blossoms.
They're a top popular beat combo apparently.
What are the? Is it male, female, mixed?
It's a male group.
ABBA
I think.
group or something? Is it like an
I
ABBA
have
group?
no idea.
They play guitars and instruments. And,
Right.
things
I'm
like that.
told #on trend.
There you go. And they've tweeted to their fans that they can buy tickets for a tenner in that corner where actually they're the worst seats in the ground to watch the game from, but they can get up close and watch the band. How clever is that?
Very good.
It's like a marketing idea. What's
It
it all
is.
about?
It is.
We're
so
prepared to give credit where it's due. That seems to have gone down really well with a younger
the young
audience.
ones. Yeah, not
which
with
is,
us.
which is that, but that's fine. That's fine.
This is something. I'm a band from 20 years ago. We'll get them in the cheaper. Graham is complaining, not about us. St Helens versus Wigan, Friday, 40 minutes per half. Leeds United versus Middlesbrough, 45 minutes per half. Saints game ended nearly 10 minutes after Leeds game. This is not a new thing.
And there was 5 minutes added on at Leeds. I was there on Friday. In fact, I think they played 6 minutes added on time. It does need sorting out.
It does,
It
absolutely.
does need sorting out.
I do think, and we see it in so many games, I don't think it's a mandate necessarily, that players are going down to stop the play. And anybody who goes down where play has to be stopped and it's a head injury should go off and have an assessment.
And if you've got a bad groin
If
strain
it's a
and
leg
drop
injury or a groin strain, play on.
Yeah.
If a trainer is coming on and he's tending a leg and the player isn't
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the field, isn't in
Yeah.
the direct relation to the play,
Yeah.
our mandate is play on.
Yeah.
If it's a head injury, I don't see now how you can have 2 or 3 minutes while everybody readjusts their defensive line.
Agree.
If it's anything to do with the head, straight off have an assessment.
Yeah,
You have
totally
to use a
agree.
substitute. It's not counted. Coaches will start saying, "Don't mess up my substitution plans."
Yeah, they're little things. Your goal kicking. I bet if you time goal kicking now, they get a minute off the clock and then they get about another 3 minutes to kick the
Absolutely.
goal. Just get the stopwatch on. If you haven't kicked it, we're off.
Exactly.
The York
Little
game,
things.
no video referee. Didn't interrupt the flow of the sport. Fantastic. Whatever,
I heard
whatever
one
the
person moaning about the ref either, by the way.
whatever the decisions were,
Yeah.
just get on with it.
Yeah, play on. Yeah, good stuff.
Toby says, should Super League have a similar bunker with a microphone so we can hear what's going on instead of Sky predicting what will happen? Toby, if they did that, they'd have to make, what's he called, Stuart Cummings redundant. It's great. That's one of the things about the BBC's coverage, which is great. You can hear Ben Taylor say, rewind it a bit, fast forward it a bit, rewind it a bit. But it's good. So probably, but it would also get rid of Stuart Cummings. I've been looking at the Dream Team is coming up.
Oh yes, we have been asked for our selection.
I haven't.
Well, I think we get one vote between us, so we'll have to put a team.
Oh, pick his own team.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right.
We'll have to have a meeting over the curry when you're paying, and we'll all come round and.
Oh no, it's only curry for you. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, all right.
All I can say is, if there's only
But
one
he'll
vote,
order enough to give us curry as well.
You know, no, you know,
You said I could have whatever I could.
yeah,
eat.
your curry's on at barbecue a week of Saturday. You're all invited to barbecue. You know that, don't you?
if they do release the voting figures, I know if only one person's voting for Jackson Hastings in the Dream Team, I know exactly who's voting for it.
No.
So apparently she's been putting pressure on not to release who that person is.
So
She's
who
been
would be your
putting
fullback then now?
Has she?
Just at the fullback, your dream team, would it be Ben Barber, a fullback now for your dream team? Yes or no?
I think you have to take a view over the season, and it's very easy to look
For
at
the season,
current
Phil, the last
form.
8 weeks has been rubbish.
Yeah.
So Ben Barber, yes or no, fullback? Yes or no?
Probably yes.
No for me.
Tompkins would be pretty close.
He'd be the other one.
Tompkins.
Barber, yes or no? Tompkins? Yeah, Tompkins would be fun for me. Rich?
Tompkins, yes, but it's going to be close, isn't it? Depends on who votes.
You get 3 votes anyway.
Oh, you do, yeah.
So yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
So they'd
Barber
both
would
be in,
on.
It'd be
but
in
I'd
the
have
three.
Barber ahead of Tompkins, and then it's the cumulative votes. The difficult one is loose forward, because
Well, it always is.
nobody plays it anymore. So you've
Just put
Sean
back
O'Loughlin.
row, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the listeners can tell us who we should pick at loose forward. Tell us your dream
We'll
team.
do that. We'll have a show on that.
When have we got to get it in?
Michael Carr says Yigo should be in the Dream Team. Or, unless he's just signing it. I don't know.
How long have we got to get the Dream Team in? What's the
I
deadline?
don't know. We'll put together a special and we'll do
Well,
it.
it'd be nice for people during the week if they want to send us there
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Facebook. Send us, and we'll do a little tally up for next Monday.
We will. Well, we might. Yeah, we'll put. I think we've got a little bit longer than that, haven't we?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
start sending us your
Yeah.
suggestions.
I would imagine they'll all agree with my
get,
dream team, like my predictions. I bet they won't be far off same as my dream team.
we'll get a reader's dream team,
Eh?
or a Facebook dream team. That'd be
Yeah,
brilliant.
we will.
That'll fill a page in the magazine as
We
well.
will. Well, I'll tell you what we could do. We
There's
could
a
put
thing.
out who should be the fullback. That can be our first one. Can't
Sam
it?
Tompkins.
Who should be the fullback?
Sam Tompkins.
Neil says Jordan Crowther at loose forward. Won every game he's played for Wake.
100%
There you
record.
go.
Can't get any better
Can't
than
do
that.
that. Mark says pick a worse Super League team. We can't do that.
Oh, we're not.
We've been through this before.
Worst Leeds team. Worst Leeds team.
No, worst Super League team.
Someone did send us a picture.
Worst Leeds team's the one that plays now, mate.
Oh, it's a bit
When I
hard.
say
I was going to say
someone,
that about Hull, but I decided not to.
Dave Allen, hashtag stick to darts, as Rod would say, sent us a picture of John Gallagher earlier, who I didn't realise looks very much like Jim Davidson.
Right, okay.
Probably gets bigger crowds than
Celebrity
Davidson.
lookalike.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I speak to a lot of the ex-Hull players, and I mean the ex-Hull players from a point of view where.
Well, what did you think? What did you think we thought? You meant?
Hold on, they played in 60s and 70s, and let me tell you this: them players who I speak to and see, they could play better than that rubbish what I watch at the moment in time. I'm telling you, easily.
Well, put them out. Bradford should pick them
Easily.
next week. That should be the announcement from Adam Pearson. Playing this week will be Lee Crooks, Johnny Whiteley.
Myself.
Can't sign him after the deadline.
How bad was
Trevor
it though
Schoey,
that
Paul
Adam
Rose.
Pearson goes, oh, we're going to send them all to Doncaster?
Yeah.
Like,
Poor old
hang
Trevor.
on.
Hang up, no, we
hang
playing
on.
this week. Keithley, we playing this week. We don't want to both play. Oh, yeah, we do want to play for Doncaster. Yeah, Adam, send them all to Doncaster, please. Send all that rubbish what you've got put in the black and white shirt on. Send them all to Keithley with
talking of
Doncaster
which,
this week.
Did you see the try of the week that Doncaster
Yeah.
tweeted with Hakim Maludi setting up?
TV's the man of the match, Hakim Maludi, yeah.
Yeah.
He could be playing for Hull this week.
Hull KR
He's
Les.
not played for Hull since that.
Since you got man at match.
performance.
Since you got man at match, Paul. I can't. Why did he get dropped?
Why did he get man of the match?
Old boy.
Well, I tell you what, and as I say, I know Phil Clark very well. Phil's a good friend of mine, but Phil, after
Is that where you get it from?
now that is a bit harsh.
The tip.
That is a bit harsh.
He said I was going to beat Castleford.
That's what I'm
this
saying.
week.
He said it wouldn't surprise me if Hull turned Castleford over next week. I went, Phil, are you bonkers like my mate Mark Wilson? Are you bonkers? Have you just watched that
The
garbage?
game's not on Sky by any chance.
It
Is
is.
Oh, there's a surprise.
Yeah. You know.
John and Hull KR Les, who I'm assuming is not his real name, both say Adam Quinlan.
Yeah,
He's been brilliant.
he has been
really
outstanding.
good.
He has been outstanding.
Toby says, what will happen sooner? Winners winning a game or Castle Wakefield getting a new stadium? Oh,
I'm going Castle Wakey getting a new stadium.
Andy says Grant Millington doesn't get enough credit. I think we do.
I don't know. Is he falling into the Rugby thing where he's that good every week? You just
Don't get noticed him,
yeah, because if
You
he
take it for granted.
you know what you're getting,
Yeah.
don't you? There's some players like that. They're that good. You expect
The
them to be
hooker
that
one's going to be a hard one to choose. And I say Matt Shane, Roby, Luntz. You know,
I Roby.
the hooker one, isn't it? That's going to be
Over
pretty
the
tough.
course of the season,
Eh?
Roby's been brilliant.
Yeah, well, again, he always is, isn't he?
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
He always is.
It's unbelievable.
Mary says Ollie Holmes apparently scored a great try on Saturday.
Well, I text Ollie about this. I texted him and said, great try. And he went, well, in fairness, I didn't really have a lot to do with it. I think what happened was they kicked off, they shifted it wide like that. I think Millington made a break down the thing, passed it inside, Gale made a break, and passed it to Ollie Holmes about 5 yards out. And like, hey, I've just scored a great
Who
try.
hadn't yet got back for the kick-off.
No, so it was a great try, but even Ollie, as he said to me, it wasn't his great try.
Tactical genius Chris Chester starting Wakefield Huddersfield with a short kick-off. So what's going on?
Well, there you go.
It's called. Listen. It's
It's
called vision and awareness. That's what it's called, fellas. Play what you see. Vision and awareness with an attractive sport. You're allowed to let the ball do the work.
Fair enough.
Apologies to the podcast listeners.
Yeah, just deafened you.
Apparently we need to get a different shaped table and better coffee mugs. David, we spent all our budget on these microphone covers.
Once we get the microphone working, then we'll worry about the cups.
16
All right.
16
What's wrong with the
pieces.
table?
Someone says it wasn't varnished properly at the front.
As Danny Houghton said,
where the sponsor's
we're in a
name's
dark
gonna go.
place at the minute.
Hey, we're not in the dark place where they are. I can
Wait till
reassure
it's
you.
winter.
Eh? Jeez.
Andy's another one who's going for John Bateman as man of steel. I need to go back to Dawn's message because she shouted at us in all capital letters
Oh,
earlier.
don't.
Not about us, just in about Sean Wayne. I can't go back to it. Basically,
Send it in again, Dawn.
She's very unhappy that Sean Wayne's never been anywhere near being coach of the year, despite all the great work he's done at Wigan, all the young talent he's brought through. Stevens, as if we
Could be
can
the
all this
biggest.
comment.
That could be the biggest mistake they make.
Oh, without a doubt. Oh, there's no.
Honestly.
I've had my say on it. You know, the interference what Lenigan's done from there. And I tell you what, though, I'm just hoping. Yeah, with the way we're going to go in, they're in the grand final, and I can't wait for Sean to tell us all.
I don't
Because
think he will. No, I
You
don't think he will.
Here's a
Because
question.
he will be so high up on the moral high ground.
Here's a question for the listener: who does Sean Wayne dislike the most, Ian Lenigan or Gary Schofield?
That's a bit harsh.
I think that's a fair
Has he
question.
answered the phone yet?
That's a bit
I think
harsh.
that's a fair
Has he
question.
answered the phone?
No, he hasn't. No.
I reckon, right, if you rang him, he'd go, Schoey, he'd go, no, nah. Ian Lenigan rings him, he goes, nah. At least he thinks about taking your call now.
Do you reckon?
I think so.
Do you
yeah.
reckon?
I think so.
Well,
Yeah.
it's all about respect.
Clearly, I didn't got anything.
Apparently, all this stuff we've got on the desk, by the way, the kangaroo and the kiwi, and a ball sign, we think by Barry McDermott.
We're trying to watch that off, actually.
It's the only thing here that's not signed by Schoey. If you want to send us anything in to put on our desk, feel free to do so.
Tatar us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and more t-shirts and stuff.
How come he gets a T-shirt
Well, they asked
and we
me.
get
They
a
asked
little
me.
ball signed by Barry
They
McDermott?
asked me, and I just said, yeah, go on then. It's good job I had it sent to my home address rather than my previous work, isn't it? Otherwise I'd never see it, but I've got it now. Manchester Rangers.
There you go.
Perhaps you should put that on the front of the desk in future.
Yeah, maybe.
So, yeah.
Maybe. Our featured team of the week.
Steve's not happy.
All right,
He
okay.
says, the game is going backward. It's on its backside, beg your pardon. Leadership is invisible. No plan, poor promotion, poor communication. But we all say it's still a great game and get envious of Union and its 40 minutes of play. Seeing Wembley half full is embarrassing for the prestigious cup final. Who are the people who can save the game? I did enjoy the letter in the League Express saying we should move the cup final to Coventry or something. I think that'll immediately kill. Nothing against Coventry, the facility's great at the Ricoh Arena, but that would kill off the challenge.
There is a good letter in today from Newton the Willows.
All right.
No,
Nicholas says
I can't read it.
Is it
Nicholas,
abusing Schoey?
No, I've had no abuse today in the League Express.
Nicholas says
Everybody must be agreeing with me again.
Nicholas says it should have a bottle of maple syrup on the table.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
bring that in for next week. Yeah.
Scotty can eat it then now.
For the barbecue a week on Saturday.
Yeah. For everyone in the Belle Isle region, it will be snowing a week on Saturday because Schoey's having a barbecue. That's generally what happens.
Why,
Right there, Rich.
Yeah,
You hear the crossword?
why do they insist, the RFL that is, on ploughing money into teams who bring nothing to the game? Because of course they put loads of money into Toulouse and Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is David in Hull. If it had been, say, Halifax versus Featherstone, Wembley would have been filled with not only 1,000 fans, but also those from other clubs. Why would it? Halifax and Featherstone don't get thousands of fans. Money should be ploughed into those kind of clubs and grassroots rugby. Well, money was ploughed into Lee, and they spent it on crap players. You can't make it up.
Is money going to
You
bring
can't
back
make it
all
up.
those community clubs in Hull that we read out earlier? Money it doesn't solve the issues in the traditionally strong areas. There are other things we need to consider.
Interesting. Very interesting. Anything else?
Predictions?
Neil was saying that the reason for the crowd perhaps was the fact that it was 2 weeks after the semis.
3 weeks, wasn't it?
I read it. Who was the report last week saying it's going back to June? That was somewhere. Was that in the Independent or something?
It can't be in May because we said this last week because of the
because of all the
football.
football.
There's
Could
too
be at the
much
beginning
football.
of May. First bank holiday in May, May Day.
But then you've got the problem, Phil. When do you fit all the rounds in?
Well, they
Back in
should be
January.
at the beginning of... No, well, that's why you need to start the regular season
You
at the
always
end
have
of
a year
March.
where the first game
Yeah.
was a Challenge Cup
Yeah,
game.
yeah, we used to play that. And at Super League in 1996, when it kicked off, the first round was the 31st of March. And before that, we'd had at least 2 or 3 cup rounds.
It'll all be sorted out next week.
Makes your pre-season more meaningful if the Challenge Cup game.
Right.
What are we giving away this week to our loyal
Mug?
listeners?
Oh, no, they don't like them.
We might nick one of them spare copies of 4020.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell Phil.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, because we've still got 2 copies of that.
Have we got another one to give
Yeah,
away?
you got two Challenge Cup programmes.
There he goes. So
Both signed.
we will select one at random.
Yeah, I'm just going through last week's video, and what we'll do is tell me to stop, and I will pick a name at random.
All right. Phil, you tell him.
Stop.
Lee Martin Thomas, you are
There you
a
go.
winner. We will contact you in Birmingham.
Yeah,
We will
look at
contact.
that.
We'll contact.
Never
He's got a
catch
big
on.
tattoo.
Never
It
bring
will
up-
never
bring up
catch
to
on.
Are you
the
giving him
spot.
the 2 programmes?
No,
No, it's one.
We're going to
He
send
gets
him
one.
2 for.
And then
I thought you said 2 people.
Well, that's last week.
We'll do
That's
another
last
one.
week.
We'll do
We'll
another one
this
this
So
week.
just share
Oh,
it,
right.
and we'll, Lee.
Well done,
Congratulations.
Lee.
We'll
Thanks
be
for
in
getting
touch
in touch.
somehow.
Well done.
Write down his
Don't know
name
how
so
yet.
you don't forget.
Oh yeah.
Right.
We'll be in touch.
Don't write it on the programme, though,
No.
will you? That won't go down.
Devalue it even more.
At 4020 live on Twitter, you get in touch on the Facebook page. Yeah, seriously,
Should we do another 5 minutes because we started late?
Yeah, no, we are going to do it. It's 57 now. It's
Excellent.
57.
Give them value for money.
Everyone that downloaded the podcast last week, I want to offer you a personal thank you. Will you download and subscribe to it this week? Leave us a comment, a favourable one. Someone left us a really mean review because the sound. It's like 5 minutes before the show, we didn't even have a show. We've amazing to get on, and he's moaning about the sound. What an absolute.
We've even got rid of Ronnie the Rhino this week. He's not even here this week. He's left us.
Where's he gone?
I don't know.
Yeah, by the way, and all, I won't rid of that kangaroo because I never beat him, so get shut of that and all. Get shut of the kangaroo. Get shut of the kangaroo.
What should we get rid of? Schoey or the kangaroo? Right, prediction time then. Come on then. Do you want to... We'll start off Wakefield at Wigan on Thursday. Legend.
I think there should be an absolute belt of the way both teams are playing, and I say Wakefield won't go there intimidated. They'll go there with plenty of confidence after the good win against Huddersfield, but you just feel as though Wigan, the way they're playing in good form, I think the Warriors will do it. I don't think it'll be a walkover, so I'm going to go Wigan by around about 12.
I do think Wigan now are on a mission. Just so impressed with the way that they played, and it's not even about the players that are playing for them at the moment. They have got a real belief. You could see that the way they congratulated each other after every score last week, that they're in it together. Some players are starting to play at the peak of their form. Sam Powell, really, really good on Friday. So I just think Wigan will have that extra incentive and will get over the top of Wakefield.
Well, I tipped Huddersfield last week and Wakefield won, but I'm tipping Wigan because they got more to play for, and they played quite well against Saints. I watched it on the telly; they were good.
Wigan,
Tom Johnson,
close game, very high scoring.
Yeah.
Hull Castleford.
Castleford, were they chasing that second spot? Black and whites, they're garbage, they're rubbish. Phil Clark, sorry mate, you got it wrong. Castleford Tigers, I'm going Cass by 32.
The real interesting thing will be the reaction of the home crowd. I just don't know what reception the Hull players are going to get. Are the crowd going to buy into the fact that some of them need to be moved on, or are they going to get behind them and try and take them out of whatever this dark place is that they're in?
There were about 200 there.
Yeah, and they stayed till the end.
Yeah, they did. Fair play to them.
There is a pressure now on Hull from within. It's not that they're going to move up the league table, but I think it'd be really interesting to see if Adam Pearson's comments galvanise them, or whether they've started telling players that they're not going to be there next year, and already we're looking at 2019. I think Castleford will win. But this is a test of character for Hull. Absolutely.
What character? They haven't got any.
Well, exactly. It's a test. Have they got any?
Cass.
That song says in any kind of weather, doesn't it? Unless they're winning trophies, I'm not winning trophies. Cast by plenty, and I think we now officially know Phil Clark was behind the margin meter, wasn't it? It was him all along. It was him.
Warrington Huddersfield.
Yeah, well, Warrington, as I say, didn't have to play that well against Hull. Great performance, though, even though Hull were pathetic. The Giants, surprisingly lost to Wakefield. Their season's gone. The Wolves themselves, they want to try and catch Cass, don't they, for that third spot. Maybe still in with a shout, 5 points behind Wigan. So the Giants season, they can't make the 4. I'm going Warrington. I'm going Warrington by 14.
Giants. I think mathematically it looks really difficult.
Warrington have got to lose all 4. Given the points difference, they've got to lose all 4.
But all Huddersfield can do is make sure they lose the first one of those. And the last time Huddersfield lost against Hull KR, Simon Wolford didn't make a big deal about it. He just said, we'll take our medicine. But they hit back really well. I think they'll do the same this week.
Agree.
And I think there will be a hangover of Wembley, and it might not have come so quickly. I think it'll just be hard mentally for Warrington to get up again.
Huddersfield for Phil and me, where are you going, Rich?
I'm going to go Warrington.
Okay, fair enough. Catalan St Helens.
Yes, good comment from Catalan's coach, Steve McNamara. We've had us fun now, we've had a champagne, we've had all the alcohol. We're getting back on the horse against St Helens. The Catalans forwards, they will batter St Helens forwards. I don't think they intimidate anybody anymore now. I'm going Catalans to beat Saints by 10.
Semi-final repeat, isn't it? Big test.
Who predicted that one? The legend.
This is the legend who said Saints would win the treble. He's now saying Wigan will make and Castle make the grand final, which would be none of the treble.
Yeah.
They're going to win the Hub Cup.
Come on, who's going to...
I think Saints will win, but I think it'll be mighty close. I think the incentive for Saints will be that semi-final. It's something that's hanging over them. They need to get rid of if they're going to do anything.
Rich?
Saints.
I'm going to go Catalan. I think the party carries on after they say we show why we won the Challenge Cup. Let's get it done on the field, then it's party central after the game. I'm going Catalans. Salford, Toronto.
Yeah, Salford have just played too well, and say Hastings is a form player at this moment in time. Been a great signing, so I'm going Salford. I'm going to go and beat Toronto quite easily. I'm going Salford by 24.
Local derby, isn't it? Salford, Manchester. Yeah, I think Salford have just hit that groove now where Hastings is the king and it all comes from him. Toronto have now got what other teams have had. They've got to fly in for the game. So, yeah, I'll go Salford.
Mason Caton Brown to score, but Salford to win.
Yeah, I think Salford just have a little bit too much. And then we won't do the Hull KR one. We'll go London, Toulouse.
Oh, why not Hulky St Rovers? Of course we could. Hull KR will beat Halifax quite easy by 42.
Go on then. London, Toulouse.
Do you know what? I'm going London. I'm going London to win. I'm going London.
It's only taken him 3 rounds to the end of the season.
All the London fans now going, no, don't pick us now, not now.
There's only 6 of them. No, 7.
Oh.
I'm going London by 7 for the 7 fans. London by 7.
I have a feeling that I have absolute admiration for the job that Danny Waugh's done at London, but I think coming back from Toronto to play a Toulouse team that have just beaten Widnes might be a step too far. I reckon this is the game Toulouse put themselves in prime position for the £1 million game.
Ooh. This is the game which breaks the table because it's going to be a draw.
All right. They drew it, didn't they, earlier in the season? They drew just before the playoffs, by the way. I'm worried about London giving big... They were awful the other day, weren't they? They were really bad. And you can't keep giving teams 30 start and coming back.
And in these games, you've just got to win.
You've got to be in front.
So
I've got a feeling Toulouse are going to win. Don't want it to be that. Is that it?
Widnes Leeds.
Widnes Leeds.
Just the small matter.
Widnes Leeds a blockbuster. The blockbuster of the weekend.
On the pitch.
And I think, this game for me is going to be a game of touch and pass. Nobody want to put the bully on the line. It'll be a game of touch and pass. I think it'll be pretty high scoring. So do you know what? I'm going Leeds to hammer Widnes.
42-40.
I'm going higher than that, Phil. I'm going Leeds to hammer Widnes by 56 points to 22. It'll be a game of touch and pass.
I'll take 1-0 to
be a blockbuster.
I think it's more likely to be 1-0.
Leeds can't drop a goal.
Leeds can't lose, can they? 0-0.
Leeds will score at least 40. That is it. That is us pretty much done, I think. Have we picked a winner, or are we going to do that next week?
No, for next week, we'll do it next week.
We'll do it next week. Right, okay. Download the podcast, all the information at 4020 live on Twitter. Via the Facebook page, we'll get that out there for you as well. Thanks to everyone that's done it. If you can like and subscribe to it, that'd be even better.
People who asked about Spotify, you have to have 5 shows before you're on there, so in 5 weeks' time, hopefully we will be.
We will be. Thanks to Phil. Thanks to the legend. Thanks to Richard. Thanks to our non-existent production staff. Thanks to the mics, they were great. And thanks to you for watching. We will be back next week. More 4020 Live. Enjoy your week.
Watch out for some other content as well. Professor Tony Collins coming up talking about his new book on 4020 Live.
Oh, very good. See you next week.